Hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita live stream of November the 19th, 2021. What makes Alita such a compelling character? Where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, the Muskogee Creek from Denver, Colorado in the United States. And one of my guests is here, Den from Tampa, Florida, also from the U.S. How's it going, Den?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Oh, real good, real good. Yeah, no major complaints, as they would say. Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
My mic and yeah, I can hear you. I'm just making sure I'm in my garage right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you got that 45-pound plate. Did you get two of them?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got them from Walmart, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And listen, I saw them there because it's for the last year or so. It's been really hard to get weights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been buying them out of fucking garages.
Yeah.
Out of people's garages and stuff. So saw that Walmart had some, and my wife just got them for me for my birthday. So.
Yeah, the heaviest weights I have here in my home gym is 25-pound bumpers because I've been unable to get 45-pound weights. So I'm pretty much I'm pretty much constrained to lifting heavy when I go to the gym, so
yeah.
Which, by the way,
bumpers are expensive, by the way.
Yeah, they are. Oh, I know they are. Yeah, but I still want to get two of them. But anyway, I deadlifted 315 twice yesterday. So anyway, that's
what's up. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. That's it.
You would never guess how many millennials can't even do their own body weight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got lucky there. I can do my body weight in all three events, so that's barely on the squat, but I can still do it, So anyway, it's good to have you aboard there, Den.
That's my goal. Yeah. At least my body weight and everything.
You betcha.
Which isn't very heavy, but
Oh, I don't know. If you don't mind, how much do you weigh?
Fat.
I bet that ain't true.
No, anybody I weigh 170, 165 in between there. Probably gone up a little bit because I ate like shit the last week because, birthday and all. So.
Yeah. I think I weighed 211 when I got on the scales this morning. So anyway.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Cool. So anyway, we're going to have a couple other folks on. 220?
Splashbang messaged you. Yeah, I was 220 last December. Yeah, Splashbang messaged you. Yeah.
Spang. Okay, let me send him a link. Okay, I just sent him a link, so hopefully he'll come on too. So anyway, yeah, but I've also invited a bunch of other folks like Cran and Do Not Stand By and Maxie, and I think Angelus is still. I think he's working today. I don't think he can come on. And I actually invited Thorna and Amy. Today's Amy's birthday, so she's probably celebrating her birthday, so she can't come on. But anyway, it is what it is, as they would say. So. Anything new going on? Are you still doing Muay Thai and stuff like that there, Den?
Same old, same old. Nothing much changed on that front. What about you?
Yeah, I'm still lifting and doing all that good stuff. And I've started doing some more, started doing cardio. I'm not running yet. I intend to start running here pretty soon, but I'm walking like 1.5 miles a day and real brisk pace, not speed walking, but really brisk. So just to keep, just to start out. Eventually, I want to start jogging. So because I used to.
I think I'm gonna pick up that running plan that you had during your marathon training.
Oh yeah,
yeah. 7 in the morning, 3 at night, because it kind of breaks it up instead of just doing 10 or 13 straight through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually I'd run like 7 in the morning by myself, and then in the afternoon I'd run 3 miles with my girlfriend, and we'd go eat dinner or something like that afterwards. So anyway, just got joined by. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, if someone's here, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Maxie, how's it going? Maxie just joined us from near He's near Sydney, Australia.
He joined us from Florida too.
Yeah, New South Wales.
Florida's second location.
Now you're still in New South Wales, right, Maxie?
Oh yeah. New South Wales is huge, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's I think it's about the size of Texas.
Yeah, that's about what I was going to say. Yeah. Although I guess
Australian states really large like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a couple of little ones. We have 5 states and 2 territories. I don't really understand what the difference is because they pretty much function that way. But out of the middle of New South Wales is a chunk that's been turned into the Australian Capital Territory, and that's where they built Canberra, the current Australian capital, which used to be sheep paddocks, and then they crafted a city there that makes no sense because it's nothing like any of the other cities in Australia. It's made up of these little hubs that have got bush in between them all, and they're connected by big roads and stuff. And all the shops are sort of like hidden within the middle of the suburbs, so you can't find them when you drive along the main roads. Like you drive along the main roads and there's no shops, and it's like, where the fuck are the shops?
Yeah,
it's really bizarre, and there's circles everywhere.
In comparison,
everything's circular.
It's circular, you said?
Well, all the roads are circular, so like there's big circles everywhere, and you drive around the circle, and you're like, "Fuck, where am I?"
Yeah, our capital's weird too. Like, you see like a lot of U.S. cities with high rises and stuff, but DC had a weird city ordinance where you couldn't like build over a certain story. So DC is really short, no high rises, but spread out really far for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Capitals, I guess. I don't know.
I kind of like that Crystal City area there in DC. Across the river. That's over in Virginia. But it's pretty nice.
Well, when I think DC, I think crime.
Yeah. Anyway, Maxie, I had thought one time that the Northwest Territory was going to become a state. Am I wrong about that, or what?
Northwest Territory? Sorry, what? I don't follow.
Yeah, you're Northwest. Yeah.
That's a map of Canberra, by the way. That's the center of Canberra.
Yeah.
You see all the circles?
Yeah.
Like circles here. That's the university I went to, actually, Australian National University.
Oh.
I was in Canberra for 7 years. I will never go back.
What is it? That bad?
Oh, it's just painful. The weather's pretty shitty.
Is it?
I actually did my honors thesis at the Black Mountain CSIRO here.
Oh,
and I was just living just over here I actually started there, and then I moved. Oh, Wright Hall. It's a new one. Yeah. Well, it was 30 years ago that I went to university. Burnagarran Hall was a great place to live back then, back in the early 90s. But, I mean, look at all the circles.
Yeah.
See the
circles? Oh, yeah. Looks like big roundabouts.
the original Parliament House is there. It is. The original Parliament House is there, and the new one, the big one that they built in the middle of that circle there.
Yeah.
But you can see that it's sort of like weirdly designed. That's an artificial lake, by the way, they built. There's the airport there. But yeah, it's a bloody weird place. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, you mentioned you did your honors there at that university. I got my master's there in a city that Den wants to go to, Pensacola, Florida. The University of West Florida is where I got my master's degree. So anyway, now I know Den wants to get up there, don't you, Den?
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Are you in the federal government, Den?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
No 3-letter agencies from me.
No, Dan, I'm not a spook.
That polygraph is bullshit, by the way.
Okay, let's move on to the first topic. And then, of course, after that, it's going to probably devolve into a bunch of others. But, we want to talk about what, makes Alita so great, what makes her so compelling. And we're not limited to movie Alita. This can be anime, manga, or movie Alita. you know, because we, you know, everyone in the Elite Army we love Alita. We definitely want her to get that sequel. We want to get the series. And I know I say that every week, don't I, Maxie? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. So anyway, but yeah, we definitely, it doesn't matter. We're not gonna stop at just movie Alita, you know. So yeah, my brother and I were talking about Alita today a little bit. Of course, it's surprising that I would talk to Alita, but talk about Alita. But anyway,
Shocking.
yeah, exactly. So you know, we were talking about the difference between the manga and the movie, and I said, well, the manga is a lot darker than the movie, but you know, there's still similars, you know, similar things in it, you know. So, but yeah, any one of these three medium, you know, for our girl, you know, it's going to be okay. So we'll just kind of talk about it, you know, a little bit. And I want to ask Dan, what is your favorite version of Alita? I mean, is it anime, movie, or manga Alita? Which one?
Manga by far.
Oh, is that right? Okay, why is that?
Well, first of all, you just get more of her.
Yeah.
I think probably one of the things that I liked was that she kind of took me by surprise. You know what I mean? I went in the manga expecting it to be a lot like the film, but she's extremely varied in the manga, and a lot of times you end up disliking her. You know what I mean? She has that anti-hero vibe about her a lot of times. I just like that. And here's the thing. I think relatability in writing is extremely overrated and actually is more used as a cudgel than an actual writing tool. But
Yeah.
For her, she's relatable in the sense like I'm not a teenage girl, but I know that girl. You know what I mean? And to see that
Yeah.
girl that I know that I care about go through said thing, you know what I mean? You can kind of relate in that way.
Yep. How about you, Maxie? I think I know your answer too.
Really? What do you think my answer is?
Manga. Or let me wait. Let me rephrase that. Manga.
Manga. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like Dad said, there's more, and I mean that you're only just seeing the tip of the spear with the movie. I mean, it's 2 hours, and you read 2 hours of manga, and you're going to get a little bit more, but she really hasn't had time to develop that. The story that's been running for 30 years. I mean, that's a lot of story. So
yeah, it is.
You know, you get a lot more variation, and I mean, she's like you look at Last Order. She's moody and bitchy, and you know, a bit up herself, but you know, she's finding a way, and you know, it's very human for somebody who's a cyborg.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. You know, I think my favorite version of Alita is manga Alita also, but I would say that movie Alita is not far behind. You know, because you know, I guess that's where I started out. You know, with
ask
Alita.
me this question again after 4 or 5 more movies, and we'll revisit it. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, but yeah, I like manga Alita too. It's kind of like what Den said. You know, you get a lot more of her. You know, you get a deeper understanding of who she is as a person. You know, and you know, I guess in movie Alita, you really kind of see two different people. You know, I mean, in a way, you see her at the very beginning as like just a little girl, you know, and she's having fun riding on the back of Hugo's unicycle and eating chocolate and playing street motorball and stuff like that, just like you would see a typical teenager do. But when she finally gets that spark, you know, when she fights those cyborgs in the alley, that's when her path starts taking her to remembering who she is, you know. And toward the end, I think she's a she's a soldier, you know. I mean, or she realizes, you know, that her, you know, to a great degree what her potential is. I don't think she knows fully who she is yet, obviously, because she's only had a few flashbacks. But you're right. You really get kind of a limited, kind of a myopic little snapshot, just 2 snapshots of who Alita is. But when you read the Mars Chronicles, the original manga, and the Last Order, I mean, it is really diverse as to who she is, all the way from a little toddler all the way up to a, you know, a 35-year-old woman. You know, I mean, you don't see that in the movie, you know. So I kind of like the manga too, but the movie Alita is pretty good. I mean, she's a close second, I think. And I really haven't seen enough of the anime. You know, I've only seen that one episode and only saw it once. So I really, you know, I mean, I enjoyed watching it, but it doesn't do anything for me like, say, the movie or the manga does. So,
well, let's just say that anime's come a long way since the 90s. I mean,
Oh,
there was some
yeah.
great animes in the 90s, but they're, again, quite short. They're usually the movies.
Yeah.
I just think that if there was some new Alita anime made by a good studio, it would change your mind about it. I think because the anime that I've been watching recently, and I have been gorging on anime. I'm actually watching Sword Art Online again, having a second watch through because I'm going on Sci-Fi Remnant to talk about it Sunday night your time. We're banking recordings for the next season, which will be kicking off next year, I think. So that should be interesting.
Yeah. Welcome, Splash.
Just having a new like a new take on Alita through anime would be great. I think it would be really nice.
Yeah.
I honestly, and here's where I get controversial, but you know, I don't like to completely follow any group that I'm considered a part of. I would prefer that because think about it. To me, an anime would just be far more longer running. I would love to get at least a trilogy, maybe a quadrilogy, you know, but an anime would just it'd have time to flesh everything out so much more. And I don't have a lot of experience with anime outside of Dragon Ball, but like I said, you read the manga and then the anime has a chance to expand on things that are touched on in the manga. You know what I mean? And so you get to, I don't know, get to know characters more. You get to explore lore more and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And there's a huge advantage here with the fact that the manga, at least the part that would be being adapted, hopefully, is already complete. There's not going to be that problem that Dragon Ball and Naruto and One Piece ran into where the manga is still ongoing and the anime is catching up and surpassing it. So they got to make up a whole bunch of shit to stuff into the anime in order to buy time. You know what I mean? All of the filler is going to be serviceable to the story if they make an Alita anime now. You know what I mean? So but they'll probably make it CGI or some bullshit like that. So I can't be too hopeful.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful, but let me wait a minute, guys. Let me let me welcome Splashbang or Installation 7 to the stream. How's it going, Splashbang?
I'm doing great, Gary. What's up?
Oh, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
Man, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
it's only been like a month since we talked.
No, it's been like 3.
Well, when was that? When you and I and Den got on there, Splashbang. That was when Den first came back, I guess.
That was about that time.
On one of your streams. So anyway, So anyway, Maxie, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Like 6 months.
No, it's all right, Craigie.
Yeah. Oh, looks like we got Angelus. He's in the chat. So anyway, he's.
Don't let him in. Don't let him in.
He's at work.
Hey, he had a birthday this week too, dude.
Yeah, but his doesn't matter because his is just getting closer to the grave. That man's old as shit.
No, Dan. He's not old.
You're talking to two guys now that are way older than him.
Yeah,
I know y'all were real quiet. Y'all like, oh, damn. It's like that GIF with Key or Peele sitting there sweating and looking out the side of his eye, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, I guess I asked the other two there, and I threw my 2 cents in. But Splashbang, what's your favorite version of Alita? Anime, manga, or movie?
I have 2 short answers to this. The first is I have to be a little biased because I haven't really read the manga, which I know to anyone watching, they're like, "How dare you!" But I haven't read it.
Yeah.
I really just don't have the time right now in my life, so I have to go with the movie just because it's really the only one other than the anime, which I have seen the anime movie. Yeah. It's a short thing, but I of course, happen to like the movie better. And
Yeah.
the other answer would be if, and this is a big if, because, you know, a lot of things would have to happen. But when you're talking about different versions of Alita, there's one version, and I kind of thought about this the other day. I was like, man, it's like if this happened, I think this would actually be a perfect storm, which is that what group of people could actually make a good Alita game? Because Alita is a lot of story and not just action.
Yeah.
So, like, who would actually be the best developers? And I was thinking about, okay, it's got to be a Japanese developer, and who would that be? And it had to be the right art style and everything. And when I remembered one of my favorite artists, and I sometimes mispronounce his name, but Shigenori Sojima is the lead art director for the Atlas games. Anything that Atlas does, they do Persona and whatnot. And he does characters with really big eyes himself. So I actually think him designing an Alita character for a video game would be perfect. And if Atlas did an Alita video game, that version would probably be my favorite, just because I love what they do with characters. They're really good with giving a lot of depth and time and exploring story and stuff like that. But that's a big if, so it's got to be the first one then.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, well, I did say that movie Alita was a close second to manga because, you know, that's where I first was exposed to Alita. You know, was in the, you know, was a couple of years ago in a hotel, or last year actually. You know, when I was on a business trip. So, and I didn't get to see it in theaters until October of last year, of course, when we had the re-release on Halloween. But so anyway, for a long time, of course, yeah. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, yeah, because my, you know, I guess movie Alita was my only point of reference for a long time. And then, of course, Angelus and I started reading the manga together, you know, kind of keeping pace with each other so we could talk about it and stuff like that.
You were supposed to do that with my Flamefic as well.
Yeah. Well, I've only got through 7, so so I gotta get back to it. But I've been kind of busy. I had to go back to North Carolina and for my mother's estate. You know, my mother passed away 2 years ago, and we're still fighting it. So anyway, it's one of those kind of things. But I got to go back next month, and finally we're going to wrap that sucker up next month. So it's going to be you know, be over. But yeah, the last couple of weeks I've been pretty busy. Now, Maxie, I did see another episode of Certain Scientific Railgun. That was pretty good. And I would say that
you need to block out some time and binge up to at least episode 216, because you've got to have that story arc, you know, run.
Yeah.
You know, with the story. If you like snapshotting it, it won't mean as much to you.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing. If they did an anime Alita, like they do a Certain Scientific Railgun, or like I've been watching some anime shorts on YouTube, you know, and some of them are hilarious. You know, what I think is funny about them is these guys, you know, will wake up and they'll have this good looking girl, you know, laying next to them, and they freak out. What are you doing in my bed? You know, and what are you doing in my room? And what my thought, then I always think, you know, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I love in anime the incessant scenes of men tripping into breasts and the people on Twitter that get pissed off about it. That's always
yeah, but my reaction would be if that happened to me on one of those anime, I'd say, "Come here, sweetie." That's what I would do. You know, I wouldn't be screaming. You know,
I'm not trying to be that guy, but let's be honest. Many of the people that complain about the tripping type scenes are usually like guys, and they're usually of a certain predicament, and those are probably the guys that would never have that happen to them in real life. So they just get upset that other people find enjoyment out of it.
Can't say that I've ever been clumsy enough to fall into boobs, but you know.
Yeah.
Still time.
Well, they do a lot in where they fall into kissing each other too. They do that a lot too, I think, you know, so they, so
personally,
anyway,
I mean, I don't think I've actually watched an anime where that's actually happened. So I actually don't know how prevalent it is, but I do hear people talk about it a lot. So there must be some animes that I'm missing where it happens a lot.
The status quo harem animes are the ones that just don't make any sense to me. Like, there's a guy, and you know, there's all these girls after him, and he won't have any of them because he wants to keep the status quo. He's like, just likes to be surrounded by girls, and it's like, this is bizarre. Like, why would you resist? What is your problem?
So wait,
Oh,
you're telling me there's stories like, okay, I know I'm not like a moron, but I'm also not like 100% educated on every type of anime out there. But I always heard harem animes was just one where a guy there was a lot of girls interested in a guy. But you're telling me what it is, the whole plot of it is that the guy never has any intention of having a relationship with any of the girls in it. Is that the whole point of it?
No, well,
not really.
harem animes vary a lot.
Yeah.
In depending on the rating of the show, like a lot of these a lot of these anime are shown on TV in Japan late at night because of their rating. And it's the same problem anywhere that something's animated, little kids think it's for them and it's not. And so they're very careful about what will happen, and they're often cut for TV, and when they come out on Blu-ray or streaming, there's more to it than you saw previously.
By the way, Maxie, Angelus has just thrown down the gauntlet with me. He says I better hurry up. He's already he's in chapter 8, so he's ahead of me. So I gotta get with it, I guess, to catch up with him. So anyway,
he's
sorry.
In chapter 8, and he hasn't discussed it with me. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, he works, kind of weird hours anyway, So, but that's cool.
I can give you a perfect example, Splashbang, of the milieu. That's the name. I just pasted it in the private chat. That's the name in Japanese, and I'm just trying to remember what it's called. It's called A Good Librarian Like a Good Shepherd. Obviously, the name doesn't translate very well. It's a 12-episode anime. And it is the quintessential guy trying to do good things ends up looking like a molester, because he saves a girl from being hit by a train, and because he had a premonition that she was going to be hit by the train, and he ends up grabbing her boob, and everybody's got a phone camera, so there's lots of photos taken of it, and then her best friend's chasing him, trying to beat him with a kendo sword, and she's trying to stop her because she knows that he saved her, but it looked really bad. It was made out in the student newspaper as if he was a molester, and that's the comedy of the sort of thing. But that's on a free website called Go Anime, but you've got to be really careful with this website because it keeps trying to shuffle you off to
other websites,
Trojan websites and things.
This
this
is
the
the only.
click those ads.
Well, I just use a VPN and it just pretty much blocks all that shit. But it's very entertaining anime, actually. I really enjoyed it. It's only 12 episodes long.
I like
released
those
in 2014.
I like those anime shorts with those girls that what they call it, tsundere? Is that what I mean? TSUN. Tsundere. That's right. Tsundere.
So actually, there's a whole bunch of different
a whole bunch of different kinds. But I like those though, because I like those girls because they're they can get violent, and it's funny how they act sometimes when a guy shows interest in them or something. It's really funny, But anyway, that's off. We're kind of off of Alita there, but
there's actually 12 different Dre types, but some of them are pretty rare. But the most common ones, and Dre means to care or to love, but the bit at the start is the variable. So tsundere is you can have violent and non-violent tsunderes, but basically the sun part means that they're not good at saying, like, admitting their emotions. And you can have the violent ones, which if you can remember back to the playground, there was always that girl that liked to hit the boys. And she was the tsundere, basically, because she liked them, but she couldn't tell them she liked them, so she hit them instead. And that's that's right. the common tsundere. But there's also the non-violent tsundere, the one that just can't get her emotions across, is too shy to admit that she likes somebody and will just sort of like clam up around them. But yeah, a lot of people think tsundere means, like just the violent one, but it's not. There's violent and non-violent.
Yeah, but I
tsundere.
like what I'm saying though is I like the violent ones because it's like you say, they don't know what to do if a guy shows interest in them, and some of them get violent. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of funny when that happens,
Well, there's like the tsundere, are caring, but can either be violent or non-violent. But then there's the Cran's favorite one, which is the yandere, which are the ones that will kill people if they go near you, like literally.
Well, Nordley says, imagine Alita's the yandere. Yeah, she is. I mean, she can be very much. If you get on her bad side, look out, Jack. It can be pretty bad. So, but my point was on the anime stuff too, was that if they could make an anime to the quality that they make it now, like with certain Scientific Railgun or some of the others I've seen, the shorts, man, we're in for a great anime series if they do that with Alita, because
I know.
Oh gosh, man, it'd be great, man. I'm telling you, I probably wouldn't get anything done. I'd probably have to retire so I could just watch Alita all the time.
Well,
so
the way these things usually work, I mean, if it's a Disney thing, it'll probably end up on Disney Plus in the West. But what normally happens, and I'm watching a couple of good anime right now that are current season stuff. There's one called Mushiko Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. And these reincarnation anime are really busy at the moment. It seems to be the current trend, which is they're called isekai, which is basically you get reincarnated somewhere else and you have some advantage. So like you have memories of your old life, which you can then use that to help you get a leg up in your new life. And it makes the antagonist. I mean, you could have exactly the same story with just the story, but it doesn't bring somebody from our world into that world nearly as much as being reincarnated and remembering that you come from like modern day Japan, which is where most of these people come from. And they get brought into this new world and they're like, okay, they're the perfect antagonist because the people who the anime's created for, or the story's created for, are people from modern day Japan. So they can really put themselves into the main character because they understand what he understands. It's got that link. And it's very popular at the moment.
Yeah. Ash Blackwind kind of made me think of something here with his text here, is that if they did a really good anime with Alita, kind of like what we're seeing here, and then some of the stuff is just not what agrees with some of the social justice warriors, I hope that doesn't happen with her, because I mean it's going to be entertaining and all that, and these folks are going to just try to ruin it for us and all that stuff. But anyway, plus I don't want that woke shit in there either. So we want we want a good, true to the manga, Alita. That's what we want, in a series and in a sequel, because I think if Rob Rod gets a shot at doing a sequel, which he's going to really pitch it, I think once Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett becomes a success, which I have no doubt it's going to be. And
when's that coming out? That's pretty soon, isn't it?
I think it's in December, I think. So, next month. So, where he gets a little more clout with Disney. And of course, when Avatar, if Avatar makes $1 billion, then it's, I think they just Disney will have to listen. They'll just have to, because I think the second time around, I think Rob Rod, as good as the movie is, boy, I love that movie, Alita Battle Angel, but as good as it is, I think Rob Rod would outdo himself on the next one. I think that's just my opinion. Okay.
But yeah, I dropped a link there if you want to stick it in the text chat, the different types of Dre characters, and they're really interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
It gives it a whole bunch of different things. One that I really like, just before we move on, is called a kundere, which is a character who is often cold and blunt, especially to the main character of the show. But they're very honest. They don't mince words when asked for their opinion, and this may make them seem like they don't have any feelings at all. There's a series that's, much like Railgun, it's been getting sequels every 4 to 5 years, like a sequel series. And it's basically they're waiting for the writers to write some more before they make a new one. But it is popular enough to keep getting shows. But it's not one of those ones like Den was talking about where they just pad the hell out of it because the demand is so high. It's sort of like it's below top tier demand, but they're just being patient. And they're producing a good show that's based off the writings of the original source material rather than rushing into it. But it's called Date A Live, and the premise is a bit weird. There's been these attacks on Earth, and these sort of voids open up and destroy cities and stuff like that. And then within the void, there's a girl, and she's like this powerful spirit creature, and there's this one young lad who has the power to lock away their powers, and then these girls become like normal schoolgirls. But there's also this other group who want to deal with it by killing them. So they've got like mecha suits and stuff, and they're going after them. And he's trying to go out with them and get them to fall in love with him so he can lock away their powers. And it's that interaction between the two different groups. And there's a character in there called Origami Sugumi, I think is her name. But yeah, she's a great character. I really like her. So I highly recommend Date A Live if anybody wants to watch that one. The premise is a bit weird, but the show's very entertaining.
Okay. Welcome, Kunstler99. What's happening, man?
How's it going?
Good. We was hoping you'd tell us.
I have had a busy week.
Cool.
With my Facebook page popping up and trying to get the my side business established. But had a YouTube interview that I shared on the private Alita message, like the Twitter thing. But yeah, your sign's like the front thumbnail for the.
Oh, I gotta go look at it.
Jeff, are you jamming out the Disney music in there?
No, that is my daughter because she likes to sing while we're in the car.
Okay, it's wholesome, so it's all good. I'll just
it is. It's kind of cool. It's cool. She's rocking out, isn't she? Yeah. Anyway, guys,
don't need to be embarrassed about that at all.
Exactly. Absolutely not.
Maybe one day she'll be singing the theme song from Alita, the Dua Lipa one.
Yeah. Yeah. After Alita 9. Yeah. Anyway, to Maxie's point, there's that link, for the different kind of Dre types, in anime. So, if anybody wants to click on it and go look at it, and take it. By the way, Maxie, I would say Alita's a tsundere, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean,
she's kind of a combination.
Well, in the manga, we haven't seen her attempt to kill anybody who gets anywhere near her fellas, but I don't think anybody would dare really.
Yeah.
But to answer to answer Angelus's question, according to the internet, Gase from Future Diary is apparently a yandere. So she's like obsessed with the male protagonist and kills unhesitatingly to protect him. So she's more of a yandere type than a.
Well, I would think of. Oh, go ahead.
Yanderes again have subtypes. So there's like there's the psychopathic yanderes, which are I will kill anyone who comes anywhere near you, kind of deal. And then there's ones that will fight to protect them. So. I mean, there's the fight and kill to protect them, but yeah, the Yan part is more, I'm killing people. if they cause you any problems, kind of deal.
Well, here's the thing about Alita, why I think she's kind of a combination between tsundere and yandere, is because you remember when Zapan, had looked like he was gonna do in Hugo, and she happened on the scene and kicked him against the wall, and then eventually pinned him against the wall and said, "Touch him again, and I will kill you." That right there was very yandere, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a yandere thing to say, but usually yanderes will follow through. They won't just threaten. They will kill.
Yeah. Well, I think Alita is someone of action, but yeah, you may be right about that. But I still think she's kind of a combination of both, maybe mostly tsundere, I think.
So apparently, according to the internet, Gase is considered the yandere queen.
Oh, really?
So there you go. She's like the quintessential yandere.
Well, damn. Okay.
Yeah, Google food for the win.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff, what is your favorite version of Alita? Anime, manga, or movie?
Manga for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a consensus here. Although with Splash Bang, I guess Splash Bang hadn't read the manga yet, so he doesn't.
I know I suck. You don't have to say it.
No. I'm not. No. We don't care. We used to give Lottie a hard time because he for a long time he hadn't read the manga. But in reality, it was just all in fun. Anybody who loves Alita, we don't care who it is. If they're one of us. That's what they are. So.
all I can say is that you're short shifting yourself if you don't read the manga. It's just one of those stories like Lord of the Rings, or one of those stories that just stays with you if you read it. It's got that much sort of emotional impact.
Except for
and really,
Lord
I
of the
don't
Rings,
think it's going to spoil the next movie and the rest of the series.
I don't think so either.
Splash Bang. I definitely say this about the manga for Alita. It's very Halo-y. It's very, that same kind of vibe where you get I don't know, kind of sort of that action-ish kind of vibe, but at the same time it's still kind of melancholic. Like nothing is ever, I don't know, like say like the ending of Halo 3, you know what I mean? Like you win and everything, but like you won, but like okay, everything still kind of sucks. That's what the tone is throughout the entire manga. And I think if you like that kind of stuff, the extended lore for Halo, you like.
You mean like ODST type stuff?
No, actually, that's the tone for the entire Halo franchise from one on.
Well, I know, but like when you were talking about the melancholic stuff, like the most melancholic game,
Reach
is just dark and kind of ominous. I would say like because of the vibe of New Mombasa, and I know what they're thinking. Stop talking about Halo. I'm just making this point.
No,
I'm just making this quick point.
Yeah,
I would argue that just for using the terminology melancholy, I'd have to fight with you on that one, Den. That ODST is a little bit more than Reach, because I love Reach. I've played Reach like freaking way too many times. But that one's just that's just a darker game. It's meant to be more serious, not necessarily melancholic.
ODST has an atmosphere, but nothing necessarily melancholic happens during the story of the game. You know what I mean? All the destruction in New Mombasa came before the game in Halo 2. During the game, nothing really, I'd say melancholic happens. It's just an overall atmosphere because it's in the Halo universe, which itself is melancholic. The entire premise of Halo is the fact that all humans are dying. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
But to your point, yeah, I know what you mean about the manga thing. And as I've said before,
it is very much the same atmosphere.
As soon as I get that block of time where I can sit down and just start reading some of it, I'm all in on it. I just
it's very much. So the original manga definitely it shares less in common with Halo, more in common with Dragon Ball, because that was the thing at the time. But it still has that same kind of vibe. I guess Dragon Ball and Naruto, because they're kind of that shonen thing. The manga is not considered a shonen, but all the tropes that were popularized by shonen are heavily present in the manga. And it's in early 90s, so that's all there. And then Last Order has a lot. You can tell Kishiro is a Halo fan, because I mean, even some of the weapon designs are like straight ripped out of Halo. You know what I mean? There's just a lot in common with it in the overall vibe. Like even when things are going extremely well, there's still that background of okay, well, we know shit is still kind of fucked here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyway, there's Jeff. He's back. Jeff, you must be going in and out of dark, dead spots or something.
Nah, I had to make a quick phone call, whatever. So.
Oh, okay. So anyway, guys, what is it? And there's some bullets up there we can talk to, but what is it that makes Alita so compelling to you guys? I mean, what is it about her that grabs us like this?
Maybe not even necessarily about the character itself, but I think what the manga nailed, and I'll go back to what I was just saying was, it's very hard to balance in media for me that exact vibe I was talking about, kind of like that melancholic vibe with sort of like a victorious kind of one, one of overcoming. It's kind of hard to balance that kind of shit without making it corny as hell to me. You know what I mean? My wife watches a lot of anime, and I'm not going to trash anime, but a lot of anime can be very melodramatic to me. You know what I mean? And I watch it and I'm like, oh my God. I should watch Attack on Titan. And to me, it just seems a little over dramatic. You know what I mean? But, when you read, like I've talked about it, she loves Demon Slayer and the other one, My Hero Academia. And every episode, there's a big crying scene. And I'm like, okay, well, you're wasting time. We could be talking about the thing that's going to happen next. You know what I mean? But yet you're here crying again. You know what I mean? It gets a little bit too much for me. And I think the manga for Gundam perfectly balanced it to where, it kind of lets you breathe for a little bit and then it kind of hits you with something organically. And none of it feels forced. And it kind of just keeps you trapped there. You know what I mean? I think the movie helped a lot with that too, because if I had read it without being familiar and already being invested in the film, I probably wouldn't have gotten through the first couple chapters. But I already had that investment from the film. So I was already naturally invested in the first couple chapters and wanted to see what happened next. And then with everything that happens and how it kind of has that Dragon Ball shown that structure that Dragon Ball popularized at the time with that of every story leads into the next story. So if you watch this episode, whether or not you're actually enjoying your time watching this thing, you still kind of want to know what happens next because it directly has consequences to the next thing. So even the arcs I didn't like at first, like Motorball, I still couldn't put it down. I didn't like it at first. That's actually one of my favorite arcs now. But at the time I was reading, I didn't like it very much. And but even then, I still wanted to keep reading. It still kept sucking me in. And even when Alita was like being in my perception, a bitch at the time, I was still like, man, she's so bitchy. But this little drama they set up here between her, Ito, Josh Ugan, and Shimura is actually really interesting. You know what I mean? And I just think that it does very well and very simply what a lot of other shows and movies try to do, but I don't think they do as well. That's basically it.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've fallen in love with someone really hard and then you've watched them die. Of course you're going to be fucked up. I mean, people don't just walk away from that shit.
Yeah.
They carry it around with them. And when you're a combat monster, where else are you going to carry it but into combat? It's going to happen.
I think the Motorball arc definitely is one of my favorite, period. I've gone back and read it a couple times now.
Yeah, I agree. She's trying to find herself too. I mean,
that coupled with the Japan arc are like the Saiyan Frieza arc of Dragon Ball. Like those are just like the integral arcs that change everything. And in my opinion, could be considered the height of the franchise. Because if you think about it, I was kind of alluding to this the other night. There really is no fight on the level of Japan versus Alita that we ever see like that again. And I'm not talking about power levels wise, because of course Alita gets way stronger. But I don't know, just something visceral about it. You know what I mean? Just maybe it's just the fact that she's using 3 weapons at once, and there's just a lot of hatred and animosity there between them, and the fact that no one comes out of this clean, and it's as consequences that last all the way into the end of Last Order. You know what I mean? There's just something about that area, that section right there is just fucking phenomenal.
cannot argue.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, because since I started out like Dan with the movie, I guess, and I saw that first scene where she opens her eyes. I mean, the ooh factor really got me. I mean, it was like, God, how pretty. I mean, that's kind of was my reaction. And I guess that's always going to be there for me. For her as a character. But I really do like that determination part of her. I mean, when I think we've said this on a couple of streams, but for me, when she was fighting, my favorite scene, of course, the "fuck your mercy" scene. She's fighting Gruishka, and she is literally in pieces. I mean, she has no legs. She has no, she's lost her right arm. She's hemorrhaging cyber blood and heart's blood, and just, most humans would have just, just curled up and said, well, this is the end, and stuff like that, not our girl. No, sir. She rammed her hand in his eye. And that to me went, God almighty, that just nailed me right there. That nailed the coffin shut on me right there, because just that damn determination. I mean, holy crap, most people don't have that kind of determination, at least not that I've seen. I could be wrong about that. But, just that, I'm going to achieve the objective no matter what. Even if I die, I'm going to achieve the objective, which is kind of what I see in her, when she's fighting Gruishka, in that, because she's obviously outclassed, in that fight, yet that doesn't stop her, So I think
what are your choices? Chest ornament, dead, or going down fighting? I mean,
you don't have much of a choice, but I think some humans would opt for life, even as a chest ornament, as opposed to, ramming their hand in his eye like that, knowing that was probably going to be their last action that they would ever take, hoping
that chest ornament, talking about that, I thought that was just like a cool line in the movie by the bad guy, like a badass line. Then I read the manga and I realized, no, that motherfucker's serious. Like he really wants her screaming on his chest, and it shows it and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Makaku in the manga is very funny, by the way, but I think horror shit is funny. So
yeah, I'm not much on horror movies. I've seen several, but it's just not my thing, I guess,
Watch Malignant. Watch it.
Okay. So anyway, what about you, Maxie? What is it about Alita that makes her compelling to you?
Well, it's the humanity. I mean, really. And the depth of the humanity for a character who's supposed to be, only like, 5% human and the rest is machine. She really, wears a heart on her sleeve and displays that humanity, but she's also the character. What do people want in their lives? They want to be a main character, right? What do I mean by that? They want to have impact in their own lives. They don't want to be like someone who sits by and doesn't achieve anything, doesn't have any impact on those around them. They want to have impact in their lives. They want to have impact on the people around them. They want to, grab the tiller of their own life and take it somewhere. A lot of people don't know where they want to take it, but they want to be impactful in their life. And Alita is the quintessential impactful character. She travels through life. She decides things. She gets on with it. She does stuff. She doesn't give up. She just keeps going. It's the old meme. I never lose. I either win or I learn.
Yeah.
And that is Alita. She never fails, because even when she loses, she learns and she comes back. She keeps coming back. There's no stopping her. It's the perseverance factor, which really does it for me. She just keeps going. A lot of times she wants to give up, but then she finds something, or she surrounds herself with people who can motivate her to keep going. And once that switch is flicked, there's no stopping her.
And that's because she keeps looking for it too, isn't it? I mean, when she feels like she's down or whatever, she looks for something to kick her back in gear, I guess.
But I mean, that's the human condition. We all have to fight against the things that slow us down, and age and whatever the hell else, medical issues, and a lot of the time it's like, why am I bothering? Is there any meaning in my life? What effect and what's going to be left behind when I'm gone? What effect am I having on humanity? Is there anything? And these sorts of things worry everybody, but she goes, oh, fuck that, I'm just getting on with it. I'm doing something. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna go out there and fight until everything goes white. I'm gonna, I'm not trying, but I'll meet somebody and form a deep bond with them, and I'll try and find my old father figure and see what's happening to him. I'll end up fighting for the people on Earth against the orbital hierarchy who's keeping them down. I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Going off of what you just said about your mark on the Earth and everything, I would say a common shared trope throughout all of shonen, and something that's a really heavy theme that you see in Dragon Ball right now, and especially I think it's hit on especially hard in the Gundam manga more than any of the other animes I've seen, is not giving into nihilism. You know what I mean? Which is something that Alita kind of struggles with. You know what I mean? In the last Dragon Ball arc, it was Goku versus a superhero. The superhero was not a bad person, but he was nihilistic, and it was Goku's outlook versus the other superhero's outlook, and that was the clashing of the two forces in that last arc. Whereas in for the anime, whereas in Alita, she gets beaten down pretty much the entire manga. Like every time you think she's hit her lowest point and she's lost all of her purpose, something else happens to make that shit even worse and twist the knife a little bit more. But she always kind of finds ways, whether it's externally or internally, to not give into that nihilism. You know what I mean? Whether it's figure 4 coming into her life at the point where she's basically where she wanted everything to go white. There was no other purpose but to die in battle. And not in like a way of valor, like, like a Viking or a Spartan, just kind of like, this is all there is to life, a nihilistic way. Or maybe it's fighting for orphans, for children, you know what I mean? Finding, rescuing orphans and shit like that, or giving independence to the scrapyard and things like that. She always found a way to not give into nihilism, you know what I mean? And maybe, that's kind of like a theme I think I see throughout all of Kishiro's manga, is the fact that it's kind of like fighting nihilism, because the man was fighting sickness in his life. You know what I mean? He didn't know whether he was going to live or die, so he had to prematurely end the manga. And kind of getting jerked around by Western movie studios. He really, I don't know what his outlook in life was, but the fact that he didn't really care for the cyberpunk outlooks in the real world and stuff like that, and he kind of like took that and twisted it into his own thing of, I wouldn't say it's a message, but a running theme of just not giving into that. The world's going to suck, but you got to find your way.
What about you, Splash Bang? What do you think is compelling about Alita?
When I really try to boil it down, I think it always comes back to the same thing. And anybody who knows me has probably heard this answer a couple times, but I think it really sticks with when I first watched the movie, I was just kind of struck by the basic universal humanity to the character. There was just so many, and I love this. And as somebody who's aspiring writer, I am a sucker for universal themes and concepts and ideas, because it's something that everybody can relate to and connect to. And the fact that there was so much of that, not just in the movie, I think, but also in the character, the way she was portrayed, whether or not that's, again, in line with the manga, I don't know, but within the movie version, at the very least, I was really captivated by that. I liked distinction among characters. So one thing that I really appreciated with what they did in the movie was how they aged her throughout the movie. And even though she's 500 years old, I'll be honest, it's been a month or two since I've seen the movie or something like that. So I actually forgot the number. It's 500, right?
No, it's 300.
300? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was 200 in the manga. It's 300.
Yeah, 300 in the movie, 200.
Well, I just added the two together. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
But anyway, so it was. I love how they aged her. How like she starts out, no matter how old she is, she starts out as like this very innocence, this naivete, if you will. And as she grows accustomed to the world, she awakens to, oh crap, this is what the world's like. But I don't want to be like that. Why do I have to be forced to be like that in this world? I want to be better. I want it to be better, and I'm going to make it better. That's something I think that a lot of people want deep down, and it's something we can all relate to, is that feeling of why can't we just make the world a better place? It doesn't have to be like this, even though we understand it as that, so that was just something I really liked.
Yeah. To your point too, what was interesting about how they evolved her throughout the movie, like you say at the beginning of the movie, was she like 14 and all that, typical teenager. But if you see on that picture on the screen there on the right, that's the same body. So it didn't have to be a body change for her to grow. That Alita in the bar there is different than the Alita that met Hugo, I think.
That's I just graduated from a liberal arts college Alita is what I call that.
Yeah.
She's giving the speech. She's all in the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
She's trying to inspire people. She's hopeful.
I just love the way that she went, okay, here's the inspiring speech, and everywhere went, pfft. And they're like, okay, I'm going to beat it into you.
Yeah, that's right. And then proceeded to do that too. So
it's funny though. She walked into the bar like an idealistic college student.
There in the ruins of the bar with everybody lying on the floor around her.
Yeah. Go ahead, Spice Ring. What was you?
Sorry, what?
What was you going to say? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying she walked into the bar like an idealistic college student, like I'm going to save the world with my speach, and then she's like, okay, it's time for violence, So she immediately graduates from like that college student level to like she's graduated college. She's like, oh crap, like this is the world, this is the way it is. I got to deal with it on the terms of the world and stuff. I don't know. That's a really silly analogy, but I like having fun with it.
Well, what was funny about it too is like after she did that speech, then she literally kicks Zapan's butt across the bar. Then she says, I'll take on anyone in this room. And if I win, you fight beside me. It's like, okay, my speech didn't work. So now I'm going to challenge you. And then if I have to, I'll threaten you. I mean, to me, it was pretty neat, the way they kind of did that,
Yeah, there was a lot of nuance in these scenes that I think, unfortunately, many casual people, when they watched it, kind of went over their head. But if they would give it a chance, maybe go back and rewatch it, I think they're going to find a lot more nuance to this film than meets the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I find something new every time I watch the movie. Something catches my eye, or some little thing
that's the difference between true auteurs and posers.
Yeah.
And the people making this movies they have earned the title of auteur, if you will.
Okay, now you're going to have to define what auteur means to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a pretty.
I'm dense. So. Is it just
I believe it is usually referred to as a type of like filmmaker that has like a really exerts a lot of personal character to the movie. Like you can tell it's made by this person, and it's recognized as no matter how many people have hands on the movie. Like when you watch a Nolan movie, Christopher Nolan movie, you can tell it's a Christopher Nolan movie. And James Cameron movies the same way. So even though this was done by Rodriguez, it kind of felt like both Rodriguez and Cameron's movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you now. Yeah. As opposed to just throwing together some scenes and saying, "Okay, I'm done." Right. And
there's a lot of
style.
There's a lot of directors that can make good movies, but they don't have a visual language about them. And a good observation of this would be, they're brothers, I think. Yeah, the brothers, the Russo brothers. They make good movies, but they don't really have a visual language as directors because they pretty much just do studio films, and they haven't really. Tell me what's the visual language of any of the Marvel movies that they made, because there really isn't one. They might be good movies, and I'm not crapping on those movies, but you can't tell me that there's like a distinctive visual or aesthetic to any of the movies that they've made. Winter Soldier, Infinity
Yeah.
War, Endgame, they're all just decent movies.
Yeah. Well, you know, I guess I agree with you 90%, but I'm going to kind of disagree just a tiny bit, at least in terms of Thanos. To me, Thanos has an edge to him that they did a pretty good job on kind of defining him in that movie, you know, and they carried that all the way through the 5 movies he was in. Of course, he was really in had 2 major roles in 2 of them, and then a minor role in you know, a couple others, and then of course the whole thing. But where they would, you know, what got me was that one scene where he's you know, talking to Ronan, you know, and he tells Ronan after Ronan's threatening, you know, or trying to get him to pay attention or whatever he does, you know, and he says he only wished that he would take this matter seriously. And you know, you get that first feel of even though that Ronan's got this weapon in his hand, Thanos turns around and says, "The only matter I do not take seriously, boy, is you." And you get that idea right there that, okay, it doesn't matter that Ronan's got that weapon. Thanos is going to kick his butt if he does anything, you know. And I think they did a good job with that. They did give him that kind of an edge. Now, is that, you know, I guess I would say that's a little bit of an artistic style, you know, for him. You know, because in the comic books, you know, Thanos is a little bit different than he is in the movie. But anyway, but I do agree with you mostly, I think.
Yeah, obviously in the comics, Thanos is more of like he's more obsessed with proving himself as like I mean, he's obsessed with death. He wants to marry death all the time.
Yes,
so
yeah,
he's trying to prove himself to her. Although I'll give you credit on that point about Thanos, but I do want to say I think that we should also not just give all the credit for Thanos' portrayal to the Russo brothers. I think it really should go to the writers, Marcus and McFeely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the screenwriters who wrote some of the best villain dialogue in the MCU for Thanos and did a great job at giving him great lines to work with.
You know, plus Josh Brolin's portrayal of him too. I guess like the combination of those 2 things, I guess. Yeah. So I guess I agree with you on that, you know, because the Russos they were kind of like they're almost like project managers at that point, I guess. And then the guys that put it together is really get the credit. So I agree with you on that. I think
solid collaborative effort on all fronts.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. And anything else about Alita? I mean, you know, for me, I mean, there's just a whole lot for me to like about Alita. You know, I mean, she's, you know, I just love the fact that she's a great fighter and she is strong. I mean, of course I'm going to love that strength thing, you know, but, you know, and it's particularly in that Berserker body, you know, and then definitely in the Imaginos body, you know, because I do have that leaning toward that, you know, strength, you know, I mean, obviously since I'm a competitive power lifter, I love that, you know, and it's like when I watch the movie, you know, I read the manga, you know, I'm looking for those where she, you know, exemplifies strength, you know, like when she's holding the guts of that suicide machine up over her head, you know, who knows how much that damn thing weighs, but it's huge, you know. To me, a lot of that physical stuff is really, really important. I just really like that. You know, I mean, I just think it you know, it just tickles my fancy, as they would say. So what about it, Dan? What about her fighting skill?
Sorry, I was just marveling at the fact that I own 3 plates now. As for Alita's fighting skill, I just think it's fascinating about the fact that it's more of just her brain memory than her muscle memory. You know what I mean? She's an impressive fighter, especially in her universe. She's fought in many different styles, competitively to death battles, as you can see. And Kishiro doesn't skimp on the fact that martial arts are arts of war. You know what I mean? Primarily, they're not wushu and all that other shit. You know what I mean? It is guns, swords, poles, fists, hands. You know what I mean? And he doesn't neglect on the firearms part, so I really like that. And then he also like scales it up to like very big anime battles near the end of Last Order. So
yeah,
'Cause she
Oh, I
was a
love
great
that.
writer.
Yeah, I love that fight between her and Toji. I mean, that's pretty cool. You know what I really liked about it too was before their fight, they actually have tea together. And she's got this
Oh yeah.
big ass teacup, that's as big as she is almost. It was kind of funny watching her sitting down there and her and Toji there just drinking tea and kind of enjoying each other's company, knowing
I
that
do
they're
kind of
going to
like
be.
that about Last Order too, is that it kind of did have some a lot lighter of a tone in a way. Yeah, it had some like real weird shit in there, some real
Yeah.
dark shit too. But it did have like those lighter character moments with the leader, character building moments. You know what I mean? Whereas in the original one, it was just like every 10 minutes something is fucking happening to this girl. You know what I mean?
Your
Yeah.
buddy Reckon, hey?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That guy. Listen, my wife does not like shit like that. She's very like conservative, traditional. You know what I mean? But she was actually like, this is actually kind of an interesting origin story. Like she hates the character, but she kind of liked the origin story. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of fascinating in a way. You know what I mean? This karate guy who got his head blown off by his child and is now putting holes in walls.
And what about Anomaly?
That's Dizzy's guy.
Where is Dizzy? I haven't seen Dizzy for a while. He's
supposed to be watching Malignant.
Oh, is that right?
He's on the front lines waiting for Chief to bump into him.
Because Diz used to get on the stream here sometimes. You'd always see him in the chat, so I'll have to send him a link next week. So if anybody wants to join in the chat, there's several of you out there. Here's the link right here.
There's a lot to go over in this manga. When I do those little animations, I'm kind of reading the manga again because I like to skim through and look for just different parts of the manga. And I don't know. I honestly would say, Splash Bang, I would make you a bet that if you get to the Japan arc and you're not fucking hooked by the beginning of the Japan arc,
yes,
I give you after the second time Japan is defeated. You know what I mean? If you're not hooked at that point, I don't know what the fuck do you want me to buy you? Halo Infinite Edition Xbox or some shit? Let's make a bet.
Do they still have those?
Yeah, the Halo Infinite Edition. Yeah, they got the Xbox Series, whatever the fuck it's called. The naming scheme for those things are so stupid.
Yeah, Dan, I actually felt sorry for Japan in the Japan arc. I
kind of.
Yeah. I think because he had that thing going with Sarah. He was trying to do the right thing, by was it a soup kitchen he worked in or something like that?
She was doing the right thing. I feel sorry for Sarah. Japan, it's like, yeah, you can see like tragic people, but you don't need to. I mean, I guess I'm bad with words, so you don't need to empathize with them, but you can sympathize. Or maybe I have that backwards. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be like, okay, I feel sorry for this guy, but it's kind of like, that's a shitty situation. I can see that, but you're still a shitty person. And I don't think you deserve it, but the way you're going about it is absolutely terrible. And for him to, spoiler alert, kill Sarah, it's like, dude, you deserve Murdoch's dogs. You deserve every single dog bite that you get. They deserve to tear you apart. You're a shitty dude. I feel bad for Murdoch, and I feel bad for Sarah. I feel bad for Alita.
Yeah, I definitely felt bad for Murdoch. I mean, because Sarah was his daughter, right? So, I mean, I felt bad for him.
Japan's kind of like a Joker character. Like, if you saw the 2019 Joker, by the way, I've not seen the movie that one is based on, so don't. Yeah, I'm a child, okay, guys. But he's kind of like the 2019 Joker. It's like, I see this. This is absolutely terrible and tragic, but you're also not a good person.
Yeah, that Joker movie was definitely dark, man. It was disturbing. I saw it. Yeah,
it was great. The midget scene's the best scene in the movie.
Yeah. I'm not going to see it again. I mean, it's not my thing, but I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great, but yeah.
I wouldn't have bought it, man. I liked it, actually. I thought it was I think 2019 was a good year for movies.
Yeah.
It was a good year for life. 2020 kind of
kind of put it in the damn dumper, didn't it?
2020 isn't over, guys. What do you mean? It's still 2020. Your calendar's just fucked up. You know what I mean? Time froze.
Or what they say, Maxie, 2020 put us in a gunny, is what it did, I guess.
Mm.
Hey guys, I have to step out because I have to go take care of something that just kind of popped up.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll be able to make it back later on if you guys are still on, or maybe hang out later. I don't know, but thanks for having me on. Sorry, what?
I thought you needed to talk to me about something.
Oh, I do, but I can't talk to you about it now.
Okay. Well, it's kind of sexy or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? All right, hit me up, man. You know? We're talking private.
Hey, Splash Bang, you need to do another stream, and you and I and Dan get on there and act crazy again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Definitely. Once I clear some space in my schedule, I'm definitely having thoughts about that kind of thing. But for the time being,
David through Halo 1
sorry, what?
Through Infinite? Are we taking David all the way through Halo 1 through Infinite?
I mean, if that's what he wants.
He was voluntold to go through Halo with me, and I'm picking my team. I'm
Voluntold. So
yeah.
You signed him up.
No, Dizzy did, and I was like, I guess if I have to take him all the way through, you know what I mean? Shit, I'll take on that chore. So
he better not be one of these guys that wants to skip all the cutscenes.
No, he actually just went through Mass Effect, and he wants to go through Halo now. So. I guess
I'm not going to offend anybody by saying that Halo's better than Mass Effect. I guess I just did.
Absolutely not. No, you're right.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, Splash Bang, you have a good one. Thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. You guys have a great one.
You too. Yeah, what I think is also interesting about Alita, you know, is she's kind of an interesting mix of a lot of different things, isn't she? I mean, you know, she has some kindness about her. You know, I mean, like with that little dog, you know, and she's certainly got great courage. She is not afraid, you know, to fight anything or anybody, you know. I mean, she's just an interesting mix, isn't she? I mean, it's not like any other character I've seen in movies before, you know. I mean, sometimes, and this is not every movie, but sometimes characters can be painfully one-dimensional, you know. And Alita is not like that at all, is she? I mean, there's a lot of different things going on with her, I think, you know. And I like kind of the way they put that into her, even though, you know, she has lost her memory. You know, so she doesn't know she's doing these things, but it's kind of like it's innate in her, you know, where maybe she's kind of got this kind of an instinctive, you know, kind of from when she was very little girl, you know, up until, you know, sleeping through 300 years or 200, and, you know, and then becoming a person that is essentially very similar to what she would have been had she not been asleep for 300 years, because she's gradually finding out about herself. So anyway, what do y'all think about that?
I think the more she finds out about herself, the more disgusted she was. I mean, because I read the original version, the ending of it not too long ago. And there's that scene where the guy's like, Yoko, I love you. And she like fucking stabs him in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, like, when you just said something you said at the beginning, I started thinking about the scene where she was like, you know, leave the baby and the dog alone. You know, she doesn't really know Koyomi. She doesn't really know this fucking dog. You know, she might be familiar with them from seeing them around, but she really had no purpose to put her life on the line for them. You know what I mean? And I think maybe this is subconsciously kind of alluding something that you were maybe alluding to, subconsciously her way of fighting nihilism, combating nihilism. Because I mean, if you look at it, you know, the original Yoko, it looks like that version of Yoko had given into it. You know what I mean? And didn't really have anything coming to her in her future except for death. And now she's been given that second chance, and this time around she's combating that.
You know, I wonder if her being around Ito and then eventually throughout the manga, the original series, Figure 4, I wonder if that kind of modified her beyond what she learned before she went to sleep for 300 years. I mean, it seems to me, you know, that she's probably more of a complete person, you know, after Ito finds her in a scrapyard, she kind of starts slowly remembering and stuff like this than she was, say, like during Mars Chronicles, you know, or say Volume 2 of Mars Chronicles.
Well, look where she's raised. You know what I mean? Yoko originally is raised in a war torn. She's raised among war, and then Alita in her second chance, you know, is raised around a more. Even though it's a shitty place, the scrapyard, it's more nurturing because she has people that care about her, I guess, in a way, a little bit more. We haven't seen what happens with her and Gelda. It looks like she has a very good relationship with her as we see her in Mars Chronicle. But I'll still put it to the same thing as Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? Talking about that nature versus nurture. You know, you get two characters who had one way. You know, Goku he was a warlike person meant to destroy the earth, lost his memory of his past life, and now through nurture, he becomes a better person, but then has to come to grips with his nature as a Saiyan in order to achieve great things and give in to some of his animalistic tendencies, you know. And Alita kind of has to do the same thing with the fact that she has this new nature, this new caring nature that's made her into a better person. But sometimes she does have to give into some of her more savage nature in order to achieve things like saving the scrapyard from Japan.
Yeah. You know, and I think that's probably because, you know, she was the influence of Ito on her, you know, in terms of you know, saving the scrapyard from Japan. And then later on, you know, after she meets Figure 4, she definitely has a kind of a sea change in on her outlook on life, doesn't she? I mean, I think she's, you know, she's learning, you know, to simply put it. You know, I think she's learning things that she didn't have the opportunity to learn when she was on Mars, you know, and she was going through all that stuff.
Because look, on Mars, your best friend's a psychopath.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and then of course she had a psychopath for I guess you could call her a stepsister, I guess, for Erica, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And spoilers about, you know, the thing with Erica's parents. Yeah, that right there lets you know exactly what kind of influences Alita had. You know what I mean? And you know, I hate to bring it back to Dragon Ball again, but like there's an outright explicit scene of why Goku is a good person, and a lot of it has to do with the people he allowed into his life. He is the strongest and the best person because of the people that he allowed into his life. This allowed him to train with better people, all the way up to deities, gods, and angels, who are all positive influences in his life. So his choices allowed that. And kind of with Alita, it's the same way. This second time around, this second chance at life that she gets, she's much softer than Yoko was. And I guess Yoko, it wasn't all of her fault, because I mean, that was some fucked up shit she went through, you know, especially that thing with her fake mother. You know, that was a hard-hitting chapter right there.
Yes,
you know,
it was.
You know, it's not all her fault, but maybe she felt like she needed to be hard. And you see in some of Last Order too, you know, she wasn't completely accepted amongst the counselors, and some of them didn't really accept her all the way. And so she kind of made this hard exterior in order to try to deal with a lot of that rejection and loss and stuff. But this second time around, she's more open to people like Figure 4, whereas maybe before she wouldn't have been before, which is where we see that guy say, "Yoko, I love you." Then he just stabs her in the head, you know, and stabs him in the head. You know what I mean? So that right there, she was open to Figure 4 changing her outlook on life, which allowed her to, you know, move forward at the very least.
Yeah, and what was funny about Figure 4, you know, who was that she stabbed in the head? Now again, I refresh my memory on that. Who was that?
Who was what? Sorry.
Who was the guy that she stabbed in the head when he said, "Yoko, I love you," or something like that?
That's actually in the redacted ending.
Oh, okay, that's in one of those. Okay, because I didn't really.
He was a fellow Martian soldier. He was one of the counselors, I think.
Oh, okay, and he had a crush on her, and she didn't like that, I guess. So
I mean, you're weak for falling in love. Die.
Yeah, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's like the ultimate turn down. You know,
it's not the friend zone. It's a little bit worse than that. I think even though that's retcon, I still think it kind of stands to the kind of character that Kishiro was trying to paint Yoko as. Because I mean, even in Last Order, she's still extremely cold. We just get a different example of that. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, what I found interesting too, and the reason why I say she's learning, she's had the positive influence of Ito, and eventually it became figure 4 too. But you know, it was like, you know, okay, figure 4, she actually fights him and beats the shit out of him, you know, and then ends up having a relationship with him because he's a lot like her perseverance wise, you know, and determination wise. He's a lot like her, you know, even though he's human, you know. I mean, he's except I guess for his arm, I guess when he lost his arm.
He's
but
a cyborg too now.
Yeah, he's but he's not a TR. But when he fought her, he didn't have it. He didn't have that arm. He was 100% human, you know. And she literally just beat the shit out of this guy, and then eventually falls in love with him because he's like her, you know.
That was the shit test. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how Navy SEALs going through Hell Week. Why do they put you through Hell Week? Why? Because you're probably never going to swim 300 fucking miles as a Navy SEAL on a fucking mission. You know what I mean? It's probably never going to happen. But it's to test to see where your perseverance and determination are. And that ended up coming in handy for figure 4 when Alita was lost. And he ended up having to get de-armed by Zex and, you know, going on what's called in the manga the Alita quest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And eventually his reward is, which all the feminist types would say this is sexist or whatever. I don't think so. I think it's very great to say a woman is worth earning. But his reward at the end is the full flesh Alita for his perseverance. And that right there was shown when he fought her at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, he gets her, you know, I mean, that's great, you know. So, and then of course that speaks his perseverance, because you remember he went up to Zalem and up to Jeru looking for her, you know. So, you know, I guess that was toward the end of the last order, I guess. So, but yeah, I guess
speaks to what kind of a great woman Alita is, because even though she doesn't necessarily need to be rescued by him, she still allows herself to be. I love that. Yeah,
that's great. You know, Just a Fan had a pretty good idea. What would have happened had, say, Nova had she awakened under Nova's control, you know, as opposed to Ito's.
She'd be an octopus body.
Oh, she would be a totally different person, wouldn't she? I mean, she'd be a psychopath. You know, she wouldn't be you know, like we were talking about a while ago, you know, Sundre and Yandere, you know, combination. She would be just an all-out murdering killer, is what she'd be, you know. So
we saw his master plan in Ouroboros was to turn her into a nerd.
Yeah.
That was great. I like nerd Alita, to be honest with you.
I like Cat Alita better, I guess. Yeah, I like that.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Where there's the Ouroboros where he raises her for the 10 years. Yeah. I remember that. But I like also have a bubble machine. Ito could never do that for her, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But I like her as in that Imaginos 2.1 body, Cat Alita. I like that. You know, I mean, that's my favorite version of her, actually. You know, it's because of that tail. I guess her tail's part of it, I guess. So
I'd say anyway, for mine.
That plus she's very powerful in that Imaginos 2.1 body. You know, I think that's another reason I, you know, like that body. I mean, it's, you know, super duper. It's crazy OP is what it is. You know, being connected to the singularity and being connected to Melchizedek. You know, I mean, holy crap. You know, I mean, wow. You know, but of course, there's not a version of Alita I don't like. You know, I mean, certainly.
What about Octopus Alita?
Oh, well, now, okay, yeah, you might have. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. That one I may not like that much. You know, what are we looking at here, Maxie?
You can see what you're looking at.
Look, yeah,
tuned.
Yeah, that's tuned Alita. That's right. Yeah, because she was after.
I think it encapsulates the discussion perfectly.
Yeah,
force of will.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's what she has. There's a lot of people that would be well, you know, if they were like a lot like her, they'd be more complete, I think. You know, I sometimes channel Alita too, like before competition or something like that, or if I know I'm going to be lifting heavy, you know, with my strength coach. You know, I challenge I channel her sometimes, just to, because it's kind of interesting, she doesn't back away from anything, so, for me, that's kind of a neat, kind of an influence on me, even though she's a movie character, obviously, and a manga character, an anime character, it's still, I still learn from it, I mean, I kind of want to take those best
Do hard
qualities.
shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Do hard shit. That's it.
Yeah, she's definitely an interesting mix. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying she's a character that's not afraid to do hard shit.
No, she's not. I mean, she just doesn't back away from it. So. Okay, Alita Baker likes the AR series, but oh my goodness, if Cranberry Jam was here,
Me too.
she would.
AR2 is pretty dope.
Yeah, but AR6, that's Cran's favorite, obviously Zex. So so Alita Baker, Cran wouldn't like that because she loves Zex. So anyway, Thorasuma says
I liked AR2 because she was like black-haired Android 18 to me. Which is always a plus to me. That's always a positive.
Yeah, I like Android 18. I'm since you and I were watching some of those Dragon Ball episodes, I got to liking Android 18 more and more. I like that one scene where she's literally beat the shit out of Vegeta and not Krillin, but about 2 or 3 others. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, there you go. She literally beat the crap out of all of them. And she comes up to Krillin. Krillin thinks, oh, my God, I'm done. And she kisses him on the cheek. And then her and Android like 17 fly off and 16.
I just like the smugness and her antagonistic attitude. I love that. That's fun. She's a fun villain when she is a villain, because she's always upset over something like really dumb, like losing a video game. You know what I mean? And I think that makes her a little bit more sinister and a little bit more unpredictable,
Yeah, plus wanting to go get new clothes.
Yeah, that's that kind of stuff that just makes her a little bit more like, is she really a villain or is she just kind of a bitch?
Yeah, exactly. But she definitely had a thing for Krillin, didn't she? Right off the bat, she
likes the short guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Lots of men around the world were given hope with that manga. So half of the guys are reading Dragon Ball like, oh yeah, I want to get buff. And the other half is like, man, I have hope. I'm only 5'3".
Yeah. Maybe Android 18 will take a liking to me.
There's an Android 18 for everyone out there.
That's right.
Now, look,
yeah,
I always say, and this is one of the wisdoms that I've picked up along the way, is that if you want love, then you should become the best you can be. Because if you meet that soulmate, that one special person, wouldn't you want to give her the best you could if you really love her? So be the best. Work on becoming the best person you can be. And
well, I can tell you this, Max,
you'll be ready.
I agree with you, Maxie, but
for in love, out of love, anytime, period. Because, going back to some of that nihilism conversation, if I was to get struck by a meteor and die right now, would I be satisfied with lying on that couch for the last 2 weeks? Or would I have wanted to at least accomplish something to myself? Like, will my ghost be impressed with the body I leave behind? You know what I mean? So being the best you, I think that just goes for all situations, whether you're married, single, gay, straight, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
You got these people sitting around on the couch playing video games going, oh, geez, I wish I could meet that special someone, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, what are you doing towards it?
Yeah.
Are you your best you? No, you fucking not. Get off the couch, get in the gym, become the best you can be. Go study, fill your body with the best things, fill your brain with the best things, be your best you.
And that's what Alita did. Alita not only was physically powerful, but she read a fuck ton of books. She wasn't an idiot.
Yes.
And she had every excuse to be an idiot. She was asleep for 300 years. You know what I mean? And she was strong. I mean, if you're a lot of professional athletes are functionally retarded, and they you can tell when they speak. and she didn't. Her as a professional athlete didn't fall into that trap. You know, she lives in a mess, in a horde of books. You know what I mean? Like her house is a fire hazard. There's too many pages in there. But you know, that's a good character trait, to be the best you can
Well,
be.
that's kind of one of the things I like about her too, and that when she's in her apartment, she has all those books, I guess, you know. That's kind of a neat thing about her, isn't it? That's yeah, it is
And it still
actually.
doesn't make her a Mary Sue. You know, that for her, a lot of her stuff is earned. You know what I mean? And it's also not really like, it's just kind of like a background trait, not something that she solves every problem with how brilliant she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just like a positive trait about her.
Yeah. Well, Ash Blackwind, just, you know, I don't know if you can see that, Den, but he says his favorite scene with Android 18 is when she kind of punched that power machine, but she didn't give it all. She kind of held back a lot, you know, so she could, you know, hide her power, I guess, you know.
Yeah. So basically, there's like a world martial arts tournament, and they had like they were making divisions, and every fighter that wanted to join punched this electric machine, kind of like you see in arcades and shit.
Yes,
And
yes.
you know, there's like the world champion, and the Dragon Ball characters kind of want to be low key, so they're like, "Hey, don't fucking break it." You know what I mean? And Android 18, you know, everyone's like punching in like the low hundreds or whatever, and she like punches like a 700, and they're like, "Dude, you're like kind of like blowing up her spot." So she punches it again, you know, to make it a lower number, and then Vegeta comes up and explodes the whole thing because he just doesn't give any shits at all. And yeah. But her character is really great in the Boo arc. You know, that's where she starts her whole extortion thing of, okay, fine, I'll lose the fight to you, but give me $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't get the idea that Alita would be interested in money. I mean,
no.
You know, it's kind of like when her and Hugo were in Hugo's apartment, which I always found interesting because Hugo's apartment's a mess in the movie. You know, I mean, it's just full of crap everywhere. And she just, you know, it's like she doesn't even notice it when she goes in there, I guess, because she's head over heels in love with him or something, you know, but
no, she's not a character that's really interested in money. She definitely is high on, you know, caring for others as opposed to caring for herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What she did with Hugo, didn't she? Yeah, she definitely did with Hugo, because when she asked him, you know, how much do you need to go up to Zolom, he says 90K. And it's just came right off the top of her head. Oh, I can get that in bounties and give you the money. You know, I mean, really?
Yeah, none of it was thought about giving to her, you know, and that's why Hugo is such a shitty person.
Yeah.
It's very hard in the film to turn a character as fucking dirty as Hugo into a good guy. You know what I mean? Because that right there just makes you seem exploitative, I guess is the word. You know,
well, they
kind of clean. He totally was.
Yeah.
His morals were very bankrupt.
Yeah. And they even cleaned him up in the movie a little bit, I think, as opposed to the manga, you know. I mean, holy crap.
And I think I kind of caught on to that, which is why I didn't like him even the first time I saw the film. You know what I mean? They were really trying to clean up polish a turd with Hugo's character, because I guess they wanted to make it a little bit more romantic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and so but you know, you still kind of sense like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if my daughter brought him home, I'd have a Bad Boys 2 moment. I don't know if y'all seen that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I haven't heard too many more apt descriptions of Hugo's character in the movie, but polishing a turd really fits.
Yeah, that fits perfectly. Yeah. Oh, you know, I mean, when I first saw the movie, I mean, I thought Hugo, okay, you know, just a guy, you know, this kind of stuff. And then, you know, I saw him, you know, jacking cyborgs. I said, okay, well, he's not too cool a guy and all. But what really bent me against him was when he, you know, he still tried to do that deal with Vector, you know, even though he saw those grind cutters on Gorishka. So he had to know where those grind cutters came from. And he still tried to do that deal. And I said, you son of a bitch. You know, I wish you were in front of me right now as a person. you know, because I mean, Alita could do a lot better, you know. But I guess at the end, he kind of came around. You know, he wanted to stop, you know, and do it jacking cyborgs and stuff like that, you know. But and of course, when he certainly falls to his death, I mean, I felt bad for Alita, you know, in the movie. You know, I mean, granted, this is a movie, but I get into that kind of stuff, a little bit, and he, I just really felt bad for her, even though I didn't like him worth a shit, but,
You feel bad for her, not him.
yeah, I don't feel bad for him. I certainly don't. Although he did kind of redeem himself a little bit,
I wouldn't say he deserved to die. You know what I mean? But
no.
He's not Rakan,
Yeah.
What if they actually do try to put him in a sequel, but they try to clean him up too?
Oh, I tell you who we got to see in the sequels of Figure 4. We got to see that. I mean,
they already planned for that. That's a definite.
Yeah.
Because I think they want to kind of stick with the romance theme there, Yeah. So that would be
that'd be a better romance thing, I think, than the one with Hugo. My opinion.
Because it'll be more even.
Yeah. Well, they're more alike. They're not. I think. That's Hugo's the first person she sees, almost first guy. So it's one of those kind of things. But by the time she meets Figure 4, I mean, she's been around a lot of different guys. So. And certainly beat the crap out of him in Motorball too. So,
she's been around a lot of different guys and killed most of them.
Yes, exactly. Killed them, beat the shit out of them, did all kinds of stuff to them. So, and that's I guess that's one of the other things I like about her. If you look at that picture on the right, and you see her as a little girl, and when Ito takes her around Iron City, that buys her that falafel and stuff like that. You'd say, oh, that little girl can't beat the crap out of it. Can't do anything. Can't hurt anybody, Oh, my goodness. What a mistake it would be to underestimate her like that, So. All right, if anybody wants to join, there's the link right there. Just click on it. It's in the chat. So all you got to do is click on it. You can come on here and talk to us about Alita. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about your English or anything like that. Just come on, and if you just come on and say I love Alita, we're good with it. We're good. So
I finally caught up with most of Mars Chronicle, and I want to say I really like the design for that crazy ass robot with the Russian name. What's her name again? Or its name?
Oh,
figured Max would know.
I need a little bit more than crazy ass robot because there's so many of them.
The one where the face opens up and it's talking to Erica and shit like that in the sewer.
Oh,
and it has a bunch of legs and arms and it's on the roof.
What? Yeah,
and it looks like a sexy woman at first. It looks like a sexy woman, but then the face opens up and it becomes this crazy demon looking thing.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah,
it has a Russian name. I'm trying to remember it though. Hold on, I'm going back to the manga now, but I really like that thing. That thing's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. What was that woman? It was in I think Volume 8. I think it was that that kind of that big black woman. What
Big Mama?
Yeah,
she was like a crime boss, wasn't she?
Yeah, pretty much. She was blind too and had incredible hearing.
Yeah.
All right, I see her here. So she just looks like a big-breasted blonde Nazi woman, but then her face opens up.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to find the name though, because it was lying in the sewer and Erica finds her.
Thor Soma thinks that Hugo is what Alita needed. Maybe I don't think long term. I don't think that's the case. I think she can do a lot better than Hugo. But I think Hugo did have somewhat of an impact on her. Because it kind of
ruined her.
Well,
he ruined her with this nihilism.
Well, I mean, she kind of thought it kind of brought that part of her out that she didn't have in the Mars Chronicles, I guess. Before she woke up. That
she poured herself into him, and
yes.
he just selfishly stole it and made her into a very bitter person for a few years, which maybe at the end of the day you could say that's what you needed for a character arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can see from like a narrative perspective. Yeah, I definitely agree with that he needed her. But like if this was like a real person in real life, I'd be like, nah, man, you just fucked that girl over.
Yeah.
It was better she never knew you.
Yeah. Yeah, Thor Soma says, that they were both kind of like childlike characters, So yeah, I guess in that regard, I guess that was okay, But it's going to be neat when she meets Figure 4. That's going to be, that's going to be perfect, I think. Well, not perfect, but it's going to be more aligned with her as a person, I think. I think
He's going to build her up, not ruin her. They're going to be even. They're going to be on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? And that's what people need. People need people that build them up and they guide each other in the right direction.
They're not on the same level physically, but yeah, but I hear you.
I mean, as far as humans go, though, Figure 4 is pretty jacked, though.
Oh yeah, he is.
I wouldn't fight him on purpose,
Yeah, I'd try to stay away from him if I could too.
I just like that he's all like, I've killed 30 cyborgs. You're about to be 31, or what was it, 34, and you're about to be 35 or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, 38. Yeah,
and he's like really confident that he's gonna fuck her up, and it's like, all right, well, shit.
Yeah, he killed that last cyborg. I think he lost his arm, didn't he, Maxie, or something like that? I can't remember now.
That was Zex that took his arm.
Oh, it's Zex. That's right. Zex took his arm, but he killed that 38 cyborg. Did he have a cyborg arm then? I think so. I'm not sure.
Are you talking about the one where they introduced Figure 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just killed him and like he just like fucking palm striked his head and did the vibration thing and killed him easily when they were waiting in the line for the train.
Yeah.
It's Yokov Leva. I'm seeing the scene now where she's like lying in the sewer. I think that design where she like opens up and she's like this crazy demon looking robot thing. I think that's cool. I think that's stuff like that is fun. Go watch Malignant, by the way.
All right.
I'm telling you, that movie is like if Yukito Kishiro got a big budget and wanted to make something that wasn't Alita and was just given free reign. That's what that fucking movie is. There's a couple of parallels there, especially with Mars Chronicle. David immediately saw it right when he came back from seeing it. He told me immediately what it was. But yeah, this is something that is straight out of that fucking movie. Yeah, this is a character who I would love to see somehow fit into the films. This is a cool character here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's who you're talking about?
Let me see. Yes, that one. And if you go to that scene where she's talking to Erica in the sewer, I like that shot. Right there
I don't think this reader goes that far.
Okay,
unfortunately, but this is when she's fighting.
She's on the fucking roof. Imagine waking up and seeing that shit on your ceiling, just staring down at you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a real cool looking character. That's like a top.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's the guy that Condor that?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that guy that Maxie has there, that was the guy that conned him, didn't he? I can't remember exactly what the con was about. I don't know if he was trying to help him find something or.
He considers himself a low-level Kunstler, but he's not.
Oh, okay.
Herr Kaufmann, I believe, is what
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a screen really quick. I got the actual shot that I like here.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah.
Y'all see that?
Yeah.
So that right there is my favorite shot of that character. I don't know. I just kind of like all of this where she's like lying in the sewer and Erica's little evil ass is going to find her and shit. Like, I don't know. This kind of stuff, I just think I like the aesthetics of this. This stuff is cool. Like, I was like, okay, I'm paying attention again when I saw this.
Yeah, Yako Leva, yeah.
I'm still staring. Sorry.
Oh, gotta get my charger. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I think Alita with Figure 4 is I also want to see her. I want to see her slap Chaos too. Chaos is trying to, he's being a little creepy, I guess, with her when she's laying on that table, and I guess he's trying to use that
He's
psychometry.
getting all handy with her insides.
Yeah, that's right. I guess he calls her Yoko, doesn't he? At that one point,
Yeah.
she slaps the shit out of him, knocks him because it
happens a lot to him.
Yeah, it does. But I think he tried to kiss her too, didn't he, or something like that?
Oh, he did kiss her.
Oh, okay, and she just knocked the crap out of him. I just love that, Hugo is like Uncle Ben from Spider-Man. He has to die to get the ball rolling. Yeah, I can see that. And so does Thor Soma. She thinks the same thing. So, or Thor Soma. Sorry about that, Thor Soma. So yeah, I mean, because I don't think we'd have seen much more growth out of Alita had Hugo not been killed. And of course, in the manga he's killed too. But I mean, in the movie, I think it would have. I mean, it would have degraded, I think, quite a bit. So.
Oh, look, he was due to die. He was a scumbag.
Yeah.
In the I mean, we've talked about him in the movie, but in the manga, he was even more of a scumbag.
Oh yeah, he was. Yes, he was stealing ripping out people's spines, which is a little bit different than jacking cyborgs, I guess. So anyway, okay, Chaos, yeah, no big deal, man, and we'll have plenty of other streams, I think. Okay, any other thoughts, Dan or Maxie, about Alita? What makes her compelling? I mean, it's a subject we've kind of talked around before in other streams, I guess. I guess the creaky being very shallow, the ooh thing, and of course strength and speed. That's that's the two, and the courage thing. That's, to me, is I think that for me is what is the best part of her, I think. Although I do like a lot about her. She's a very multifaceted character, I think.
If you want to get close to the source, the term you're looking for is kawaii, with 2 eyes.
Okay.
It's really weird. Kawaii with 1 eye means scary, which can also be applied to Alita at certain points in the storyline, certainly in the manga.
Yeah.
But kawaii with 2 eyes is basically the same as ulu.
Oh, okay. Damn.
It's that cute, lovable sort of vibe.
It's not a big difference in the two, is there?
Nope.
At least
I looked at that and I went, well, that's not confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
I completely forgot I had chicken in the smoker this entire time we were on the stream. No, chicken in the smoker.
Yeah.
It cooked all the way through. It's perfect. It's great. But that was close to ruining some very good chicken, which is something that black men don't like doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think anybody likes destroying good food.
Now, Dan, if I ever get down there to Tampa, you can always barbecue. You can barbecue those veggie burgers, right? You can and those veggie hot dogs or whatever. You can barbecue those, can't you?
I've never tried.
Oh, okay.
But do you have like a medical meat aversion, or is it religious or anything like that?
No. I just saw. I guess it was a documentary on Netflix called Game Changers, in which they talk
no meat athletes.
Yeah, it's no meat athletes, and about how they exceed. One of the reasons they exceed is because I guess when they eat meat, it causes a lot of inflammation in their bodies and causes a whole host of different things like joint problems, blood pressure, stuff like this. And the one guy that really struck me as is interesting. It was there's this guy in Austria. He carried this 1,124 pound yoke 31 feet, which at the time was which was the damn world record, you know.
Wait, say it again. How much? 1,100?
Yeah, 1,124 pounds, I think is what
Damn.
it was. Yeah. I mean, that's over half a ton. He carried it over 30 feet. So, or 10 meters, or almost 10 meters there, Maxie. And, you know, I don't know how many kilograms that is. That's probably on
It's
the
a
order
fuck ton of pounds, Max. That's
yeah,
what it is.
425 kilograms or something like that, I guess.
Well, not quite half a metric ton, but getting there.
Yeah, that's right. Holy crap. I mean, yeah. I mean, and the guy doesn't eat meat. You know, he's a vegetarian, you know. I think he does eat cheese. You know, he'll eat pasta with some cheese in it or something like that, but he doesn't eat meat. So
I was gonna say, if you're not strict on it, you know, you should try some of my chicken.
oh,
Like,
I will.
I was like,
I would.
oh, you don't do anything but chicken, man. Well, first of all, chicken is healthier than red meat in general. You know what
I
mean?
agree. Oh,
So
I'm
that's
not
one
a
reason-
I'm not one of those fanatics, you know. I mean, that or, you know, maybe salmon. I definitely eat salmon, you know.
yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
But my chicken, the reason why is because, you know, like I try to eat more chicken than red meat. And because of that, I've gotten really good at the chicken, you know, and that's why I kind of lean into that right there. But yeah, I can do turkey too. Like I'm doing a turkey. I did turkey last year. I'm going to do turkey again this year.
What do you barbecue it or what do you do?
Put it in the smoker. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So my birds are pretty good. I'm doing,
right,
like I
man.
said, if you're not super strict on it, if not,
No.
we can experiment throwing vegetable shit in there and see how it comes out. And if it comes out good, it might. I've heard vegetarian stuff is better on gas grills though.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, you know, so yeah, I'd eat some of your chicken. No, not a big deal.
No, don't say it like that because context matters. It's just, so if someone clips this out.
No. That, you know, it's I'm not a fanatic about it, you know. So I mean, I have noticed though that my joints don't bother me near as much, you know, that I've stopped eating meat, you know, when I lift, you know. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's just a personal thing, I guess, you know.
I'm somewhat of a meat-based life form at the moment because I'm avoiding carbs.
Yeah. Need a little bit of carbs earlier in the day. That's the best time to get them in before your workout, and after that,
Yep.
you should try to.
I fast 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, so I don't eat anything between 8 p.m.
So what
at
is that?
night.
Boy,
and
that's pretty
midday the next
Spartan
day.
right there, man.
Shit,
16 hours. So what time do you start eating?
I just ate just then. It's like midday now, and I'm like,
Oh,
sorry
okay.
about the chewing noises.
No, that's all
I'm
right.
dying here.
Because
No,
I was
yeah, you
doing. Go ahead.
No, you want to eat carbs before you work out and protein after. So
Yeah, because the thing about it is, it's a balance between building up excess calories and shit like that, and fueling your workout. Because if you're getting a shit workout because you have no fuel, then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You could probably get more out of it if you get yourself a good workout.
No, the paradigm
Which is
that
what I
I'm
learned.
working on is if you starve your body of carbs, it goes to fat resources, and I like eat meat with a little bit of fat on it just to remind my body to use fat rather than carbs, and then burn the fat off my body. That's the plan anyway.
damn, Maxie, you're going to become a beast before we know it.
I'm trying to take after you guys. You've motivated me.
Do it, man. Do it.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, hell yeah, do it.
I did a little bit of intermittent fasting, and that's how I lost a lot of weight earlier this year. I didn't do it for a long time because that's something that you don't want to stay on, but it's not a lifestyle. It's you know what I mean. But I did do intermittent fasting the same way you're doing it, except I ate between 4 and 10 just because of me and my wife's schedules, and it did work for me. You know, I just had to really tailor my workouts around that because, as I said before, you got to feel yourself.
Well, Maxie, how much weight have you lost?
10 kilos so far.
Ah, damn.
I had too much fun last weekend. My cheat day was pretty cheaty. I had a friend over who's a foodie, and he brought all this food, and yeah, that didn't go so well. So
What do you bring? No, I went perfect. What do you mean? If you had fun, it went great. What do you bring?
It was what they call in Australia plowman's platter. So
Oh yeah.
you know, like meats and
Yeah.
quince jelly and
Yeah.
and all sorts of yummy bits and pieces.
Is
Y'all
that
really
like
are a whole other country out there.
And
I'm
his
sorry
and
if
his
that
wife
is.
his wife's big on baking her own bread. She has a bread maker and she bakes all this bread. So she
Cool.
brought some of her own bread and he makes everything from scratch. The guy like makes all his own stocks and everything. He's amazing.
Is that like the plowman?
Actually, he's been on Radio Chaos. It's Doc Joe.
Oh, that guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a big foodie.
Well, Maxie, is that kind of like the plowman's lunch is in the UK, or
Possibly.
yeah? Because I've had those; they're pretty good. So
We don't talk about the UK. We beat them in a war, and you guys have liberated yourselves from them as well. They sent you there, and you made something better. Okay.
We haven't entirely. We're still part of the Commonwealth. We still have a Governor General.
In name only. If they come there, you fight.
yeah,
them
but
off
he's
just like
just a
we did.
figurehead, isn't he? Isn't he just a figurehead, Maxie?
Well, he's the Queen's representative.
Oh, okay.
Aren't
So he's like
Canadians kind of technically part of the British as well?
Yep.
Still,
Yeah.
Yep.
The Queen's man, as they call him, hasn't stuck his nose into Australian politics since the 70s. So,
How does that go? And
well, theoretically, the Governor General can dissolve Parliament and force an election if he's not happy with how things are going. And it happened in 1974. The split between the two major parties was such that they couldn't get the bill through for the economy. What's the budget? They couldn't get an accepted budget because the arrangement of the upper house was too close. So in the end, basically the Governor General just dissolved the Parliament because it couldn't function, and forced a new election, which makes sense. But the fact that it was done externally to the Australian elected government was the thing that really hackled.
I bet it hackled a lot of people.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of referendums, but it seems like there's still more Australians that prefer to be part of the Commonwealth than not.
So y'all don't make a lot of fun of Britain over there?
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't know if I don't know if you see Twitter on the American Twitter on the 4th of July, but it's extremely funny because we've taken to this tradition of instead of doing fireworks, we just drop memes about the British. I think they're hilarious. I don't know. I don't hate British people.
How do you know a plane load of Brits has arrived in Australia?
Tell me.
When the engines of the plane shut off, you can still hear the whining.
I don't hate the British. There are brothers. You know what I mean? There are brothers, you know.
Hey, my mother was British. So
the 4th of July is especially funny on American Twitter. You guys just have to pay attention to it. See what me, John, and Challenger ST are posting on that day, and you'll have a laugh at the Brits.
Yeah, well, I can't make fun of the Brits because my mother was English. So
yeah, you can. You guys evolved to something better. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They're all old jokes that I know now. Those jokes have been around for decades.
We all make fun of each other, so
yeah, that's fine.
But what I noticed though is that America gets made fun of, England gets made fun of, but no one really makes fun of Australia. They kind of just like. What? It almost feels like we're laughing. No, for real. Listen, like
that's because of those big ass spiders. That's
it's more like we're laughing. It feels like we're laughing with Australia. Like, yeah, we don't want to fuck with you people. You know, like you guys are like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like I don't know. It's not like Florida. You know, Florida gets made fun of by the rest of the U.S., even though it is the best state, bar none.
Yes. But, yes, we do make fun of Floridians. They can't drive up in the mountains.
But that's the thing. All the people that can't drive in Florida are from the north. They're the snowbirds.
You know what they call them halfbacks too. You know, up in North Carolina when they go back to the Appalachian Mountains. I had friends of mine that were from Michigan, and they would go down to down to Naples, down
Yeah.
there south of where you are, Den. And then they go back up to North Carolina. And they called them halfbacks because they were halfway back.
They didn't go all the way. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, what I've noticed is, no offense to anyone, but every time I have a road rage incident, the license plate says Ontario. I don't know, just a pattern I've noticed, but there's just something about those Canadians that just pisses you off on the road, man. I don't know what it is. But no, like, I don't know, the jokes about Australia always feel like less malicious and more just like fun and good natured. Whereas like the Brits and Americans will be at each other's throats on Twitter and shit like that over dumb shit. It's all memes. It's still all in good fun. But I don't know. It almost feels like everyone kind of admires Australia. Like everyone wants to go to Australia, but then everyone to talk shit about beans on toast. You know what I mean?
Hey, I want to go to Australia. It's been on my bucket list for 50 years.
I think it's just because Australians come off as charming, whereas I think the Brits are still a little bit mad about getting their ass kicked by farmers. I think that's what it is.
Oh, look! Once you've had your ass kicked by kangaroos and emus, then
you've earned your
just
respect.
Roll with it.
You've earned your respect on the block. You know what I mean?
Look, we've lost 2 emu wars, so yeah.
Oh,
just don't talk about it. It didn't happen. What do you mean? All those fights you lost didn't happen.
Well,
remember
Alita
that
loses
time?
fights and she learns from them.
It's not a loss, it's a learning experience. That's what the L
right.
stands for. Take your L's.
take your L's and learn from them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
I think so. What would you say the Gundam manga fits in? I heard it's called seinen. I guess it's maybe like an offshoot of shonen. I don't know, but there a lot of the tropes established in shonen were seem to have carried over heavily to it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. So.
I'm asking Ray. He knows all the anime.
Oh,
shit.
okay.
Do I? All of it?
You seem to.
Yeah, we accused him of being our MCU expert here about 3 weeks ago. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, even though he's not.
Say what? I know. I've seen most of the MCU movies. I used to read Uncanny X-Men back in the 90s, but yeah, I can't say that I've kept up with it particularly well. It's just too fragmented. It's hard to follow. Yeah, well, I'm just Googling seinen because I hadn't actually heard that one before, but it means youth, apparently.
Oh.
I've seen seinen when I go look it up in the manga. You know that manga panel I just showed you on that website? It says seinen here somewhere. And then I've heard Jaya Nice Day say that once too.
So shonen's aimed at young men. I guess seinen's aimed at young people. So it's not specifically targeted to the men. So I guess the focus there would probably be the fan service. I'm pretty sure everybody here would know what that means.
Yes.
That's basically tits and ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Breastises.
Kind of what I watch those anime shorts on YouTube for.
Do you mean anime shorts, or do you mean the mangas that have been voiced?
Say again, Maxie.
They're mangas that have been voiced, aren't they?
Well, they got dubs on them. I don't know what you mean.
Oh, you're talking about see, there's 2 different things that I've been picking up recently on YouTube, and one of them is those little compilations of scenes out of anime that are all kind of similar. They're all the theme. And then there's another bunch of YouTube channels where they take mangas from Japan and they translate them and then they voice them, and they're really cool. I've been really enjoying them, but most of them are about I'm an introvert and the sexiest gyro in class came onto me, blah blah blah, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Well,
that's what a lot of those anime shorts, on YouTube are like. It's stuff like, this is what here's what would be the title of like a typical anime short on YouTube. This is what happens when you wake up to a good looking to a beautiful girl next to you in your bedroom. I mean, stuff like that. You know,
And the guy just freaks out. Yeah.
he freaks out and he, get out of my bedroom. So no, you're a dummy.
Yeah, pretty much. But you got to remember that you've had a lot of experience and he's had zero, zilch, zip, nada.
That's true.
So he's more concerned about what his parents are going to think, what the kids at school are going to think. He's not just taking the moment and running with it.
Could y'all give me 5 minutes? My wife said I stink and I smell up the room because I was working out earlier during the stream, and now.
Well, I'm going to bring the stream to a close. But did you want to watch any? Do you want to watch any Dragon Ball tonight, Dan, or you kind of got something going there, or what?
No, I mean, if you got time, I definitely want to. I always want to watch Dragon Ball.
We can watch at least one episode, I think. So
I mean, it's 8 over here, so
all right,
Friday.
Yeah.
Before you do that, Creaky, I was just going to say that those anime shorts where they gather a whole bunch of similar scenes under a theme, I actually use those to find new anime. That's how I found that A Good Librarian, like A Good Shepherd anime. And a lot of these are really quite short. They're only like 12 episodes. And basically they're like the two-parter that they made for Alita, which was supposed to be longer. It was supposed to have more episodes, but Kishiro killed it after the first two because they changed too much, according to him.
Well, he didn't like them either.
I kind of agree with them on it, by the way.
But he dropped the ball on that one because he was supposed to be overseeing it, and he didn't have time because he was too busy writing.
Well, he didn't like it either, did he?
But they had the manga there to look at.
Yeah, but they did their own thing because he wasn't giving them enough feedback. So he's as much to blame as they are, and he admits to it. With the wisdom of a couple more decades, he realizes that he made mistakes, and that's why he was more relaxed about the changes that they made in the movie.
Yeah,
because he said, "Well, I'm not looking for a panel by panel retelling anymore. I just want the soul of the story to be there."
Well, plus he's a little older too, wasn't he? I mean, he's
Oh yeah.
Kishiro seems like a really cool dude, man.
Yeah.
He seems like a dude I'll buy a beer for, and I know he drinks, so I know that at least for a fact.
But I'll often watch those anime compilations, and that actually tells you what manga it's what anime it's from, and oftentimes it'll tell you the Japanese name. You have to go and throw it into Google and find out the translated name to actually find it. And then I go off to Funimation or Crunchyroll and try and find it. And that A Good Librarian is like A Good Shepherd, which I think you'd really enjoy. And it's only 12 episodes.
Well, I got to get through Railgun
first.
I got to get Railgun first, and I got to read your fanfic. So.
You do, but yeah, there's a lot of kawaii in that one.
Really You're gonna be here in 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'll keep the post stream up.
Okay, it'll take me 5 minutes. I'm gonna be right back. All right.
Okay. Well, we I guess we can move on then. Maxie, well, first of all, did we miss anything? I don't think so. I mean, we kind of hit everything I think about Alita.
I'd just like to reiterate that I think that if we could get a anime version of Alita, and if it was done respecting the manga, the source, and done in a Japanese way rather than a Western way, that I think it could be really popular. I think that Alita could have her time in Japan that she's never really had. Because Alita is actually more popular in the West than she is in Japan. And I really feel like the Japanese anime community could really warm up to Alita if they did a proper Japanese style anime for her.
And the quality of that anime, in Japan nowadays, it's awesome. I mean, the artists. I guess that's the way it always is, though. As time goes on, people get better and better and better at what they do. But
the style's changed.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
the anime from the last decade. I mean, some of it's a little rough. It depends on which studio it comes from. But a lot of the studios, like I really love JC Staff's work, and some people will disagree with me because they use 2D, 3D combination. And, you know, like when they're doing water or explosion effects or something like that, they'll use 3D and some cityscape stuff. But all the characters are 2D, which is where you really want it, where you really want the 2D animation to really get that kawaii going. And and yeah, I think it's really quite good. But yeah, look up that a good librarian like a good shepherd when you get the opportunity.
Let me make a note of that.
It is that harem, harem. It's harem, but it's status quo. What I call status quo harem. So it's like the guy's just trying to keep things the way they are, but you know he's a bit sun, like he doesn't want to admit his feelings for a particular girl, but he keeps saving her. And there's all these other girls that are keen on him. And one thing I really like, there's the token male friend there, and he's just getting no action at all. And that happens in so many of these animes. Like the other guy, the other friend, just is completely ignored. I feel sorry for him.
Well, you know what I find funny about some of these anime shorts that I look at, which I'm going to start paying attention more to the names, but it's like a lot of the guys they draw are just really don't look like
they're all that much.
Yeah, they don't look like women would be very interested in them, you know. And then every now and then they draw maybe one or two of them that really, you know, I would think would be maybe attractive to women or something like that, you know. But damn near all of the girls that they draw in anime are really cute, you know. So it's kind of a funny type thing, and I'm wondering if it's kind of a cultural thing in Japan. You know,
I expect it is. The feeling that I'm getting is that it's not the guys' looks that are super important. It's their demeanor. It's their attitude, and it's usually the guys that, you know, will go out of their way for anybody. They'll risk their lives to help other people. They'll put themselves last all the time to help others, and that's the ones that all the girls in the animes fall for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're okay looking, but they're nothing special. But it's the way they treat other people that has all the girls falling all over them. And, you know, the world of anime may seem idealistic and you know, like I guess it's aimed at the not so good looking guys, but showing them that there's a way where you can attract women if you act a particular way. But I remember when I was growing up, and good guys finish last every single fucking time in Australia. Don't ever think it works any other way. I mean, if you were sporty and fit and looked good, that's what the girls went after. Young women in Australia, they're nothing like in the girls in anime. It does not work that way.
Well, how are those Aussie girls like Americans?
Oh yeah. I mean, back during World War II, when the American GIs were in Australia, oh my God, the girls are falling all over them.
Yeah, so, it's like my mother in England. She kind of went after my dad. You know, he was in the Army Air Force. You know, right after World War II, and that one thing led to another, and of course now here I am. So
Well, just as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Matter of fact, she used to tell people that. If my dad hadn't wanted to run down the beach one night, I wouldn't be here.
Well, you know, a good-looking guy from another country, so you've got that whole exotic feel, but it's a country that speaks the same language, so you don't have a language barrier. You have a little bit of a cultural barrier, but not much.
Yeah.
And you know, they've signed up. They're defending their country. They're doing something meaningful. That's what's attractive, and that's what they're trying to get to with putting a guy that's not super good looking but is attractive to women anyway because of the way he acts. That's the kind of thing that I think a lot of anime is trying to teach young men in Japan how to be better men.
Yeah,
that's what they're going for. They're not saying, "Oh, the good-looking guy."
That's that population thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, well, yeah. I mean, they're trying to get their declining birth rate turned around.
You know what's going to be interesting, I guess, in an Alita sequel, you know, is that it would be interesting to see what she likes in a man, how she would act. I mean, we saw how she acted with Hugo; she's all over it. But that's kind of like a adolescent you know, kind of infatuation, you know, with a guy that the first guy she meets type thing. What's going to be interesting?
That's the major difference between the movie and the manga. In the manga,
Yeah.
he was a scrawny little shit.
Yeah,
And
he
she
was
fell in love with
nothing.
him anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In the movie, he was a pretty boy. So
Yeah.
you can it kind of feels like that makes more sense in that sort of young, superficial infatuation kind of deal, which is fairly common. But yeah, I mean, the manga was like completely like, what did she see in him?
Yeah. That's what I thought first time I ever saw the movie, you know. And of course, when he helps her up, you know, he said, "Ooh, you're heavy." And my first thought was, "You're a dumbass." That's kind of what I thought, you know. You don't tell.
But he's young. He's got no filters yet.
Yeah, that's right. You know. So I just thought he was a dumbass, you know.
But you know, dumbasses can be endearing. People make mistakes and they can be quite endearing when they're doing it. People don't necessarily like people who are perfect.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit of a put off. If you show some humanity, it can make a big difference.
Well, what's going to be neat with Alita, though, I think in the sequel, when we get it, because we are going to get it, is what it, you know, as she's now matured, you know, and she gets past Hugo, you know, or at least time heals all those wounds, I guess. But, you know, what kind of guy is she going to be attracted to, you know, as a mature woman, not as a, you know, adolescent? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of that's going to be neat, I think, you know. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think we missed anything. So, Maxie, you want to talk about this tomorrow, or?
Yeah, I was actually trying to find images to create a poster for it just while we were talking. But yeah, hang on, that's not the right one. That's 90.
Is it?
We're at 91. That
was last week. I think it's supposed to be 91, but I think the title's right though. I just forgot to punch the one.
Nope, that was last week's title while you were traveling.
Oh, damn it. Okay, then, Maxie. All right, then tell us about what tomorrow is going to be about, really.
You sure you want to know? You seem to be, you know, wanting to relive the one you missed.
No, I want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So basically the premise for tomorrow's stream is if Iron City had a police force, what would it look like and how would it change things?
Yeah.
So you know the conversation that Ido and Alita have outside of the factory where he says, "Oh, once there was a police force which looked after people, but now it's gone, and we just have the bounty hunters." And
now we do the dirty work. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
But yeah, what if the police force had stuck around? What would it look like? Would it just be paramilitary? Would it be doing the same thing that the factory's doing, you know, stomping on everybody? Would it actually be upholding any sort of laws? Would it be looking after the people, or would it just be another tool to squash the populace? What would it be like? And what effect would it have? That'll
be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, well, when I mentioned it, Avon said, "Oh, that sounds like an interesting topic." I said, "Well, you want to come on next week?" He said, "Oh, okay, I'll come on." So he's back again this week.
Yeah, Creaky will be managing that stream too. So
yeah, good to have you back, man.
Yeah. Well, I got to go back to North Carolina next month. I got to go back to again, but I'm going to fly out and fly back on Sundays, so I won't miss either stream that way. So
oh, cool, that's good.
Yeah.
Sounds like Den's back.
Yep. Hey, Den.
See.
You want to come on and talk about the possibility of a factory police force?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I'll send you a link.
Drop in my link.
Yeah.
When is that? Is that tomorrow or next week?
Tomorrow at I think be 4:00 your time. I think, Dan. Or no.
Right.
No, it won't be 4:00 your time. It'll be 2:00 your time, I think.
Whoa, why is it changing?
Wait, because of daylight savings time. And Maxie knows I'm horrible with daylight savings time.
Yeah, you are. That's true.
It's 9
That's-
p.m. 9 p.m. GMT. I tell you, as long as you stick with that, you're good. So
Is it the same time for you, Max?
it's just,
No, it's gone an hour later for me.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's an
that's-
hour later for me too. It's gonna be
no, it's
I'm
an hour
thinking-
earlier for us.
Yeah, because your
Remember?
daylight savings
Really?
stopped, but mine started. So
So-
yeah, shit.
So I think with you,
what
I
what
think
time
it's
what
gonna
time
be,
zone are you in? You're East Coast, aren't you?
yeah.
Yeah,
So 4 p.m.
yeah, be
That's what it
4.
was before though.
No, it was
Yeah.
5.
It was 5.
Was it? I thought it was 4. Oh,
No.
yeah, maybe it was 5 actually. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you're right.
Basically, it's 9 p.m. UTC, no matter what else is going on in the world.
Yeah,
Okay.
So we just
yeah.
stick to that one time, and if you go an hour forward, then it's an hour late. If you go an hour back, then it's an hour earlier. That way,
yeah.
there's no confusion.
Now parts
See,
of
the-
Australia they don't do daylight savings
Yeah,
time, do they?
yeah.
Who is that?
That's bloody Angelus's mob.
Oh, Brisbane.
Up in Queensland. Queensland won't do daylight savings because they like to get up at 4 a.m. I don't know why.
Sounds like
down here,
Arizona
like-
here.
Yeah, so Queensland and Northern Territory don't do daylight savings, but the southern states do because then they get a bit more sunlight.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are parts of
Austra-
the US that don't recognize it too.
But
Yeah.
Australia's so deep, like we cover a whole bunch of latitudes. So
Yeah.
up in the higher latitudes, they're not as interested because the day doesn't extend as much. But down south, the day extends more in the summer and contracts more in the winter. So
yeah, you get that the sun being out at 9 p.m. that type
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And my wife's a scientist, and she didn't believe me. I said, "Look, you go down to the bottom of Tasmania, and the days are longer in summer than they are in Queensland. Seriously, they just are.
Yeah,
That's how this tilt thing works.
yeah. Down
And
in
if you go right
Tassie-
down to the pole, you get, sun 24 hours
months.
a day,
yeah, that's
and
right.
then no sun for 24 hours a day for the other 6
Yeah,
months.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, don't you get like 6 months? I mean, I know in the Arctic Circle they get 6 months of night, 6 months of day, or
I
something
don't think
like
it's
that.
I don't think it's 6 months. I think it's like 4 months.
You're talking
Right.
about in our Antarctica?
Yeah,
So
all
wouldn't
right.
it be exactly the same, just
Arctic
inverted?
Circle.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't they both be the same but inverted?
Yep. Exactly.
So one gets when one's getting 6 months a day, the other one's getting 6 months of night.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. And you don't get 6 months of night. What you get is like 4 months of night and then a month or so either side of twilight. So the sun sort of comes up a
Okay.
little bit and then goes down and sort of wobbles around the around the fringe
Yeah.
for a couple of months. And then it comes up and just stays there.
I saw a post from a weatherman I follow, and he was saying that the other night will be the last time that the people in Barrow, Alaska, see the sun until like January 29th or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah.
yeah,
Barrow,
it's-
Alaska is the highest point in the U.S., by the way. It's like right up there
Yeah.
in the Arctic Circle. So, and yeah, they really
Is that-
sucks up there.
Is that further north than Alert? I think there's a little town called Alert also. I'm not.
Well, if it's American, Barrow is the highest. So yeah, I would say
Okay.
so. Barrow's
All
the
right.
highest. It's right at the Arctic Circle, and
Yeah.
it's the highest in the U.S. Not the high, because I guess there's places in Russia or Siberia or whatever that are higher. But yeah, this place, a loaf of bread is like $15 because it's just what it takes to get the bread there. You know what I mean? And no roads
Jesus.
are paved. It's just a ridiculous place that I would love to visit one day.
But human beings aren't designed to deal with shit like that. We need our circadian rhythm, which is matched
Yes.
to what's happening. That's why a lot of
Yeah.
people on a cloudy day when the sun isn't out just don't
Get
want to move.
depressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the sun activates the melatonin on your skin, and you start moving around, and sort of brings up your whole body and starts you moving about. Open
I
the
heard there's a
curtains in
lot
the
of-
morning and the sun pours in, and that motivates you. And
Yeah.
it's part of what we are. We're designed, like we've evolved to have a circadian rhythm, have sun and then night, and then sun and then night. And if you don't have that, it fucks you up.
Yeah.
Like there's
I
a
heard
That'd be
a lot
like
of places
suicide.
like Seattle, and people I know in Alaska talk about high rates of depression and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Suicide's really
Yeah.
high. Closer you
It'd
get
be,
to the
it'd be
pole.
similar on Mars. You know, Mars's day is like 24 hours and 37 minutes or something like that. So
It
it'd be
is.
similar, I think, you know.
No, but that's not like necessarily the day and night cycle, though, is it? Like
Yeah.
it's night for about the same amount of time.
Yeah,
and it's
their
dark.
their rotational period is 24 hours and 37 minutes, where ours is 23 hours, 59 minutes, and so many seconds. I can't remember. You know,
Yeah,
24
so
hours. Yeah.
the day night cycle, the light dark cycle would be similar to ours, right?
Yeah,
Like they would,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, no, it wouldn't be terrible. It'd just be like living anywhere else on the Earth. You know what I mean?
Well, except
it's a
there's
smaller
no
planet with no gravity, and
yeah,
no
with
atmosphere,
no atmosphere. Yeah.
and no magnetic field. So you're just
Yeah.
getting blasted by sun rays. You think skin cancer is bad on Earth?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
I mean, the Total Recall was a warning. Okay, guys, when Arnold Schwarzenegger's eyes
Yep.
are like bulging out and shit like that.
Yep.
That's Elon Musk. That's what you're asking of people. You're never going to terraform Mars. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I wouldn't
Never.
say never. Never say
That's
never.
my prediction.
But that's why Kishiro thought about it and had the shield that they built.
The
over-
baldachin
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that before we have like a permanent colony on Mars, we'll find a way to get to another fucking solar system, because I don't know. That seems like a big ask to resurrect a planet from the dead. to me.
Well, I know the distances between stars are so great. I'm not sure, Dan.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
what I'm saying. That's how difficult I think it is to resurrect a planet from the dead, just like it is to travel light years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think it's
we'll
easier to
one
go
day
very
do it.
fast than it is to start the core of a planet spinning again. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they'll
I'm
never
not a
do that.
scientist. Yeah,
They'll never
I'm not
do that. But what they'll have to do, now we're getting way off topic, but what they'll have to do is they produce an atmosphere. They would have to continue to produce it. They couldn't just, like the Earth, you know, is kind of in a state of homeostasis, you know. But on Mars, they'd have to keep producing the atmosphere over and over and over and keep it going forever. Because if they didn't, if they ever stop, then the atmosphere
Arnold
is just going to go
Schwarzenegger.
away. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
I just think that's a big ask. I think that, in my opinion, that's just it's just as big of an ask as going to the next nearest star, you know, Alpha Centauri or whatever. You know,
We'll see. We'll see.
I think they're equally big ass, in my opinion. Like, that's a big deal. But I'm not a scientist, and I'm not Elon Musk, so I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong.
Well,
I would
you know,
love
and
to see the surface of another planet.
but I'm going to say one more thing here, and we've got to bring the stream to close because we're not talking about Alita at all now. But it's cool. Well, we kind of are. It's Mars, isn't it? But anyway, we got you know, in the 2030s, they're going to do projects. Breakthrough Starshot. You know, they are actually going to launch interstellar probes. Now they're going to be like little bitty ones. You know, like
isn't that the one where they do like kind of the sails and they use some of the
and
do a bunch of
they're going to have like thousands of them, and they're going to you know, hit them with lasers and accelerate them to like 15% the speed of light or something like that. You know, and fly.
It's still not going to get you somewhere extremely quickly. That's still going to be a long ass journey.
Well, it's going to be 10% speed light, so it'll take it 40 years to get there. So I'll be 120 years old when that happens.
I think that there's a better chance you see 140 and you're still lifting than it is us, you know, getting somewhere timely. But that doesn't say anything about 200 years in the future. 200 years in the future, I think it's a lot more viable to start getting to other star systems and stuff like that. You know,
we'll see.
I'm not a scientist, but
you look at Kishiro's vision. They were trying to get out of the solar system, and then the other planets fucked it up on them.
Yeah,
there's just such a high likelihood of fucking it up. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though, Dan. I never like to say never because, you know, Bill Gates once said that why would you ever want a computer that had more than 640 kilobytes?
Yeah, he wasn't the smartest guy in the world. He's just the luckiest guy. He's just a really lucky guy.
Because this computer I'm on now has got like 32 gigabytes.
I'm just looking at what it takes for me to download Halo 1 on the Xbox Game Pass, and that's like 200 gigs, 264 gigs. That's fucking Halo 1. Why would you? Okay, Bill Gates. William. I'm going to call you William.
William Gates, yes. Anyway, well, guys, I'm going to bring the stream to a close here, I guess. And this is Our Lady right here. By the way, Maxie, one interesting thing I found that she does have a Facebook page now. She's got one of those public figures pages, you know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, you can check that out. Rosa Bianca Salazar is what it is. So you just click like on it and you can post to it and even ask her questions, you know, although I haven't done that. But, you know.
When are you going to come speak to your fans on Radio Chaos?
Yeah. Yeah, we could ask her that question, you know. I mean, instead of me trying to do what I was doing, trying to go through all these kind of agents and stuff like that and running into brick walls.
And how much help was that?
None. It was zero. So, so anyway, but here's our lady right here. And man, I'm telling you this, she is #1 in the Creeks book. That's for sure, you know, and it doesn't hurt that she's pretty. So, you know. So why is this image here? And it's the same thing as every week, isn't it, guys? Because I like it, and I'm running the stream. And I'm only here for our girl, to paraphrase Gawishka, you know. What he say? He said, I'm only here for the girl. Well, I'm only here for our girl and the Alita Army. So.
Good way to be.
You betcha. And with that, I guess, any last thoughts, Dan or Maxie?
Keep lifting.
You betcha. That's what Cran told me to do. Keep lifting, you know. So, you know, because Cran and I had a beer when I got the commission from her. Man, that thing's great, boy. I still got it on my table up there. I don't have a frame for it yet, but I got a spot picked out here in my gym for that thing. It is great, you know. So any last thoughts, Den? I think Den's on mute.
I'm just wondering who's going to get caught up with my fanfic first, you or Angelus. He's
ahead of me. He's in 8 already, and I just finished 7, so I'm gonna have to get with it. So but the last couple of weeks I haven't been able to do it because I was in North Carolina taking care of some of that business. So I couldn't.
Tell you what, Creaky, when you two catch up, I'll write some more. How does that sound?
Oh, that means more homework. All right. So anyway, I guess since that's it, we'll do the call to action, which is film those sequels, baby, on my count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Film those sequels, baby.
All right, and we'll catch you next week, and we'll see you on Radio Chaos tomorrow.